Greatest Hits Radio.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Welcome, everybody, to the Night Owls programme. This evening we have a whole host of very, very cool things that we're doing tonight. Obviously, we've had that horrific news about what's happened in Liverpool. Explosion outside of a women's hospital. We'll bring you whatever information we've got from that. If you're watching the various news channels, come on, have a chat with us about it. We want to hear everything about everything from you tonight. So pick up your telephone, 0191 488 3188. The entire North and Night Owls across the world rallying together to talk about stuff. And we always give you a challenge. Tonight's challenge is a good one. Not only do we want to hear about your relatives who maybe have fought in either the First or the Second World War, or maybe the Gulf, or the Falkland Islands, or any of the other conflicts that we have been in. We're talking service. If any of your family has been in the service, male or female, tell us what happened during World War II with your mama, your nana. 0191 488 3188. It seems that in the North, we have an endless supply of absolute heroes.
I really, really enjoyed it. And just like everybody else, I cried too, but for slightly different reasons.
Why?
It actually brought back some memories of an uncle of mine who was in a prisoner of war camp.
Right.
I was only about 5 or 6 at the time, the last time I seen him,
Right.
because he did survive.
Uh-huh.
But he was one of the prisoners of war that they did medical experiments on.
Oh, my goodness, right.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what sort of experiment. I've never been told.
The Japanese decided that they were going to work on germ warfare.
Mm-hmm.
They realized they were taking on a force that was much greater than theirs. So how could they run it down? They thought germ warfare. They asked people who weren't even doctors to take some of the prisoners and put the germs in them, whatever it happened to be. And then if they started to die, as they were dying, to vivisect them, which means essentially cut them open while they're still alive, to see what the germs are doing to the internal organs of the body. So if he survived that, what a strong man he must have been.
Yeah, he must have been.
Terrifying. Also, if you remember when we were doing the show live from the bridge over the River Kwai, we heard stories of the Japanese and cannibalism, and that has been borne out in subsequent years, shocking though it is. So let's crack on. What else have your family members been up to?
He was the youngest child to go on the boats, and they sailed from Liverpool. I think that was about 10 weeks, I think they was at sea, because they went the long way round.
Yeah, to avoid all the trouble, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, but Mr. German, he was over there, and he was places where he wasn't meant to be, and he did actually shoot or torpedo a lot of the boats that were going.
Give over. And this is just preying on people, innocent people trying to escape.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so at 4 years old, you don't really know what's going on.
Of course not.
Well, I lost my father just over 2 years ago. He never really told us anything about what happened whatsoever.
And that's why we need you guys to keep the memories going and ring in and tell me your family's stories of what they did during various conflicts. We're also doing my favorite things. Now, if you've seen the film, rainbows, roses, whiskers, kittens, all that kind of stuff, they're just a few of Julie Andrews' favorite things. But what's yours? Now, when we first put this out, a guy called Ray from Crook said, my tools are my favorite things, especially the ones he used to make an 11-foot dining table for his kitchen. How big's your kitchen? Anyway, I would imagine you would be proud if you made something like that. I asked Tony about his. He said his favourite things are his dirgs. His slavery dirgs. He's nodding there next door. I have to remember to give him a biscuit. And what's your favourite things? I don't want people. My husband's my favourite. No, I don't want people. Favourite things. Stuff. That's what we're talking about. What's your favourite things? And why are they so special to you? Mine, if I had to give an answer for favourite stuff, many, many years ago, I was given some little postcards of Hollywood stars by somebody in Blythe when I was doing a book signing in their shopping centre. Keelrow, I think it's called. And since then, I've collected black and white movie star postcards. And I've got probably 100 or so now. Doesn't sound that great or that amazing, but to me means an awful lot because it was a kindly gift from the heart and I'll never forget it. So, what's your favourite things? Brenda in Norwich says her favourite thing is anything soaked in peri-peri sauce. So what's yours? Do tell. And don't forget, let's have some more stories of your family's tales of daring do.
There were certain things he refused to even talk about. Right. Dad was never near Auschwitz.
Right.
But he saw horrific things. He became very ill out in France, Belgium area.
Right.
He had a burst appendix.
Oh, my goodness, right.
During all that was going on.
Yeah.
It was what he saw in the hospitals coming in. They took them over to Belgium and places. As they were getting them out, Dad was in one of the hospitals. People were being brought in, and that's what he would never talk about. But I found loads of old photographs, and I've gone through a case full that we weren't really meant to look at. But anyway, I've been through them, and Alan, God, there's no way you can disregard what happened to all of these poor people in these camps. But what was going on and what the men must have witnessed. Our families have seen such horrendous things. But you could have stopped back and think, it just beggars belief that people could be so awful and evil.
Have you got a story that matches up? Call us right now. Our families have done incredible and amazing things. Even those that stayed home and worked to keep the home fires burning. What did your family do during conflict? What's it like to be a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband of somebody who's away in a conflict, and your only way of finding out how they are is watching the daily news? Pick up your telephone and give us a call. We need to know these kind of things. And of course, for good measure, we'll talk about some of your favourite things because frankly, you lot, you're kind of hoarders, aren't you? Talking about hoarding.
Yeah.
Video collections. Nobody has a video anymore. I didn't have a video for the last 3-4 years, but I had all the videos that I had when I had a video. And they were all in alphabetical order, and they're all lined up.
And I bet you any money you later, there's videos up in the loft.
That absolutely.
I can guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
And video machines.
And all the gadgets that stopped working and stopped being kind of current.
Yeah.
The place will be full of the damn
thing. Because Brian was a television engineer by trade.
Blimey. You'll have all kinds of wires and stuff.
so he could fix anything, but he couldn't be bothered to do it. It would go in the loft and I'll do it later, Dave. Well, yeah. Hello, you've died and left me with all this crap.
So we're not really talking about babies. We are, because we do get in the habit of collecting the same thing. And I bet if you go out to like a car booty, or if you're at a market somewhere and you see one of the things that you've already got thousands of, you'll think, have I got that one? 0191 488 3188. So we want to know all of those things. But let's have one more of those amazing stories, this time of World War II in Newcastle upon Tyne. If they'd have been at the grannies where they were supposed to be, they would have been bombed flat.
Oh, no problem. No problem. They wouldn't have been. Yeah. It was very frightening when my mother used to have the air raid shelter with bits of carpet in and something in a bottle, might have been water.
But the air raid shelter, from what I saw, because when I was little, my dad still had the remnants of his air raid shelter in the backyard of the house.
Yes, in between the two houses.
If that had hit the house, the air raid shelter would have got flattened as well.
Well, it would have. I don't know if they had, but all our side did have, because we lived downstairs, never ever upstairs. Somebody lived upstairs, so you shared that.
Sure.
And and when the bombed it, they hit Spillers instead of the train, which was lucky, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Horrible. I would never like my grandchildren or great-grandchildren.
So can you actually remember the sound of planes and stuff?
You know, I've got a fantastic memory from being 4-year-old.
Really?
Really, yes.
We've heard stories about how quite often German attack planes and bombers would fly up the Tyne, try and hit the tank factories at Vickers.
That's right.
And what have you. But, I mean, did they actually go after your standard streets as well?
Well, they done it wrong because he had missed the Tyne and hit Spillers, which wasn't far off, really.
Right.
But it must have been as they were flying over and they've dropped one because the two houses were flattened. They were shaking the rest. It was only a street of about 6 houses in.
Right.
But they were actually houses up and down where I was in a flat. The whole flat years ago.
And I suppose if you're a German in a bomber and you're flat night up the Tyne, it'd be hard to tell what's a factory and what's not.
Well, this is it.
What's your stories? Do tell. Have you heard of an incredible story? Earlier this week on one of our ghost hunts, I heard about the most courageous man I have ever heard about. He came from Redcar. He worked as an apprentice cobbler in Yarm, where we were. And it was just quite simply the bravest story of an individual ever. Have you a story to tell of immense bravery too? 0191 488 3188. But let's get into the music, for we are Greatest Hits Radio Northeast, broadcasting to the glory that is the North and lumps of Scotland and people all over the world, frankly, who point their aerials in our direction, and we treasure it. We treasure the fact that you're pointing them at us. We got an awful lot. We've had an awful lot already today. That amazing album show with Simon Mayo earlier today. Tomorrow morning, the cash register. Plenty of chances for you to win big, and I mean big money from 8 o'clock. But right now, let's do what we do, and that is we play the greatest hits. Hi, everybody. Welcome. You never guess where we are. We're in Yarm.
Is that the original name?
Yarm.
Right.
It means a pool where people fish. And that was its original name. Now, Yarm, over the years, has become the fabulous, this is a wonderful town, Yarm. Never quite sure whether you call it Teesside or whether it's the North Riding of Yorkshire.
I know.
Because it's one of those
North
bordery
Yorkshire,
ones.
isn't it, sort of thing?
Yeah, it's Yarm. Anyway,
It's Yarm.
that's the main thing. This place was mentioned in the Doomsday Book in 1092. So it's got a history. It's got a great history. The Vikings were here. The Vikings, an amazing one-off here. The Vikings came here, and it was one of the places in the 900s that they chose because the River Tees, that goes to Teesside, I suppose. The River Tees goes around almost like the river does on the opening to EastEnders. You know, it goes up and right round. Yeah. And there's a bridge in the middle, and we're standing on that bridge now. It's directly behind Hollywood McShane, who's got his patina light hat on.
Patina.
And that's the bridge over. But the bridge is wider now than it used to be. And I've got a story to tell you about that once we start heading into Ghostville, because ghosts galore in this particular area. So the Viking story, though, they found a Viking helmet here, and there's only 2 Viking helmets, and not with horns in. The Vikings didn't have hats like that. Only 2 Viking helmets ever found in all of Europe.
Really?
You find them in Scandinavia.
Right.
The rest of Europe, they never leave a helmet behind, which, hey, you can't argue with that. But there's only 2 being found. It's known as the Yarm helmet, and only the second one in Europe, the only one in Britain, which I think is amazing.
Really amazing.
Great stories. This used to be a toll bridge. It was the doorway into what is now Yorkshire. It had a drawbridge on it, an amazing drawbridge. And talk about stories, and they're great stories. Make sure you share this feed, please. You will win yourself one of our illustrious Night Owl badges and a night in bed with Kenny here.
That is something to win.
It is. He's not very sexy, but as a hot water ball,
yeah, I'm good at that.
It's pretty bad because he's a bit sweaty. Now, the truth of the matter is you'll win that and you win some other stuff that we put together for you. Not a worry. But share, please. It would help us a lot. Now, drawbridge. Anybody coming here bringing sheep had to pay the toll, otherwise they couldn't get to sell in what is now Yorkshire. Beyond that, back in the day of the English Civil War, a munitions supply landed at Tynemouth for the Royalists. And what they did, they were going to bring it across here because the Royalists were based in Yarm.
Right.
It landed at Tynemouth and it came down by cart. The Roundheads found out about it. 400 of them came here to grab the munitions and take it for Oliver Cromwell. The Roundheads here rallied, heard about it, notified all the other Roundhead groups, and massacred 400 Roundheads right there on the bridge. Now, talking ghosts, true lovers walk. Come this way.
So this is a bridge over troubled waters, isn't it? Definitely.
It is.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. But if you're looking for ghosts and spooks and you want to come to a place here in Yarm, cafeterias, pubs, beautiful restaurants, but this place has a story and it's attached to a church that we're going to visit called St. Mary Magdalene's. So come down here.
Cool.
It's amazing that just 2 minutes away from like the busy street and everybody's normal lives, you just come through here. You saw that one coming.
Yeah.
And
never go up a back alley with Alan.
That's a fact. Now, if you have a look here, under the bridge, you'll see two bridges. There's this bridge on that side,
Yeah.
and there's this bridge on the other side. It's been doubled in size because obviously when modern vehicles needed to come across to and fro, you needed two lanes. However, back in the day, it was this way.
Right.
I think that's actually the old side, this side. This is the old side, that's the new side. And this is just wide enough for a cart or carts to get across, coming one way at a time.
That makes sense.
But when cars came, they had to stick another side to it. Let's head. This is.
Because it looks darker down
Lovers
the bottom.
Walk. What's it all about?
Oh, God, look at that one.
Amazing
Right next to the
story.
river.
In the
Viaduct.
churchyard, or should I say, in the church of St. Mary Magdalene, Yarm, there's a tomb called the Two Lovers Tomb. Now, it was two very rich young people who got married and they were murdered, they were killed. Some people say by Catholics during the time that Protestants were fighting Catholics in this country, just after King Henry VIII had carried out the dissolution of the monarchy. Now, the Catholics left, the church changed denomination, and the bodies that were in the Two Lovers crypt disappeared. So come down here and I'll tell you the story, because this is what Chris Rea described as the Steel River. Look at this bridge. This is the stone bridge. Now, they built a new iron bridge to try and replace this just up the river from here. It lasted no time at all, then it fell in the river, and that was the end of that, because they were going to pull this bridge down, and they should never even think about it. This is living history, this bridge. However, the story, you know, there's an empty tomb in St. Mary Magdalene's. Now, we're going back to the early 1800s. A young lad was in love with a young girl, and the young girl was ill. She had a chest disease. We think it was cholera or something like that. And she said, please don't let me die in this hovel of a house that we had. So they brought her down here. Come down this little side path. Because it was looking up at the bridge, it said. And I think it's here. I think he brought her down to this very spot right here. Wartime things either. I want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Newcastle United, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, all on positive tracks, it seems. But what will happen this season? That's the thing. I want to hear about sneaking about, because apparently Emily Atack has been sneaking about with Jack Grealish behind his childhood sweetheart's back. And a lot of television complaints about a Gogglebox episode where they showed an animal documentary and a baby kangaroo getting eaten by dingoes. Now, I didn't see it, but loads of people that haven't seen it are also complaining about it just because somebody else has seen it. And I've never understood how that works. If you did see it, you want to talk about it, pick up your telephone, give me a ring. Lots to cover. And China and India, all but ignoring the climate change stuff. A couple of people have written in, scared by aggressive beggars in city centres, and a lot more besides. I've got an awful story about what a rock star did on stage, but I'll tell you about that a bit later. Meanwhile, let's cut across and talk to Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Mr. Flashing Blade.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I haven't spoken to you, darling Alan, for more than a decade.
Good gracious. Well, welcome back, Steve. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Last time I spoke to you, Alan, it was a dream interpretation, I think it was.
Oh, blimey, right. Uh-huh.
That was a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, but I was naked in a glass elevator that just kept on going upwards and upwards.
Up and up. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and you interpreted the dream, and I've never had it since.
How fantastic. That's brilliant. That's a result of sorts. No, you only hear about a dream like that once in a lifetime, Steve. I think you find.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Brilliant.
But I was talking to the people on YouTube. I found you again after your terrible demise at Metro, which I did listen to, and I tried to ring in on the night, but I couldn't get through. It was just jam-packed.
It was a mad night, yeah.
And I lost you, and I didn't know where you'd gone.
Right.
And I found you again on YouTube. So I was talking to the YouTubers.
Right.
And when your staff member said anybody want to phone in, I was going to phone in last Sunday, but I bottled it. I said I'd do it tonight instead, you know.
So what you been up to? 10 years of a life there. What you been doing?
Well, I moved away to Dorset for a short while.
Whoa, right.
Yeah, I moved in with the young lady and our daughter down there, but it didn't work out, so I came back home.
Sorry, man.
It's not a problem, Mal. It's just one of those things. And I've since had a stroke. I've had 2 heart attacks, two major ones and 4 minor ones. I've had quadruple heart bypass surgery. I've got diabetes. I'm just ready for the knacker's yard now, you know.
But how you're lucky to have survived all of that. That's ridiculous, the amount of problems you've had with your heart.
But well, it's not too good living. Let's put it that way. I mean, you know, if you'd seen me, I should have been dead 25 years ago because the amount I smoked. I still smoke, sorry.
Right.
You know, I should have been dead years ago, but I don't know.
Yeah, against all odds. Yeah, but good, man. That's great.
But as I say, it was basically just a catch up, really, just to say hello, and I'm thinking about you, and I have been thinking about you. You know what I mean? And I've been watching your YouTube ghost hunts, and Alan, I have to say, it's brilliant content.
I'm glad you like them. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. And hopefully, obviously the 1 call a week rule is still in effect because you're only on once a week now, aren't you?
Yeah, don't have to enforce it hard this time.
No. I was last week when I was talking to the people on YouTube and I was asking about, you know, old callers from a decade ago, and I found out so many people have passed on. It's just it's unbelievably sad.
It's a funny thing, but when you've been in the seat as long as I have, you get a wave, and it's usually about every 10 years you get a wave of regulars, and then they kind of seem to ease off, and then a new wave of regulars arrive, and then back again, and then on. But hey, it's going to happen. Let's face it, the longer we're on the planet.
Well, this is true. The thing is, I mean, the last 18 months I've been pooing me pants basically about catching COVID because I've got underlying health conditions other than what I've told you. And I went through the whole thing, Alan, and I've never had any symptoms or anything. I've been regularly checked up, have regular tests, and I've never been anywhere near it. Although people around me have gotten it 3 and 4 times, I've never gotten it once. Good. And I don't know if that's pure luck or just good genetics or what, you know.
It was funny because when my dad was alive, my dad used to always say about health. He kind of went the complete opposite of the National Health Service. What he believed was, and I'm not going to use the word that he used, everybody's got to eat a bit of before they die. And he says, it's good for you. It builds up your I can't remember the word that you would call it. It builds up your immunity, rather.
Immunity intolerance,
to facing any of the various bugs that are bound to hit all of us right the way across our lives. So he always said to me, my mother would say, wash your hands before you have your dinner. Doesn't matter, Alan, just sit there and grab a sandwich. You know, and I don't know whether that works as a good thing, but in real terms, and I'm touching fake wood as we speak, I've never been hit by a particularly strong virus or a bad flu, or do you know what I mean? So maybe there's a bit of truth in the fact that we ate a lot of muck when we were kids.
Definitely. Speaking of flu, I mean, I catch it every year. If there's ever a strain of flu comes out, I get it.
Right.
But the thing, and I've just started getting the flu jab.
Right.
And for years I put it off because my mother got it every year for 30 years, and she was always in bed for 3 weeks afterwards, absolutely dying. And it put me off getting it.
Yeah.
And then when COVID came along, I thought, I'm gonna get it this year.
Right.
And last year, sorry. And I got it again this year, and I've done no but sneeze since I got it.
But you still sound like you're in pretty good health, though. It hasn't knocked you down, though, has it? That's the thing.
Personally, I mean, I'm overweight. I'm a fat bugger. I've cut down eating wise, but I mean, and I'm still I can't move because of arthritis and blah, blah, blah. Right. But I am still physically in good health. I just can't walk anywhere. I can't do anything.
Why is it? Is it because you're huffing and puffing? Is that?
Yeah,
is that
basically, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just haven't got the oomph. The oomph I had has got up and gone.
But what about the smokes? And I know it's probably, you're going to say it's one of the few pleasures I've got. I get that. But
Alan, it's not anymore.
Because I was going to say, if you didn't have them, you probably wouldn't huff and puff quite so much.
Well, the thing is, about the last person I know that gave up smoking died 4 months after they stopped. So I'm a bit reticent to do that one. You know what I mean? Right. I've cut down. Don't get me wrong. I've cut down from 75 a day down to about 30 a day, and I'm smoking roll-ups rather than ready-made smokes.
In this day and age, 30's a load. You know.
Oh, definitely. Oh, it's too many still. It's still too many.
What about the vapey thing? Is none of that?
No, I can't use those, Alan. I choke. Aye. Even on the lowest settings, I kind of get away with it.
Right.
I mean, I've got two in a box on me living room coffee table, and I can't use them because I cough like nobody's business. Right. Honestly, you'd think I was dying when I have a toke on one of them.
Right.
It's just unbelievably difficult for me.
I just worry about you though, because we know that the more you do it, the worse your health will be, because that's just what happens.
Eventually, it will catch up with me. I know that. I've been lucky so far, touch wood.
Yeah.
But as I say, I have cut down a heck of a lot, and I am cutting down even more because, as I say, I'm smoking roll-ups now, and I can't afford it anymore. Right. To be honest, you know.
Well, the cost of tobacco. If you added up how much,
between £19 and £22 a pack, and I can go through 3 or 4 packs a fortnight, you know.
Yeah, but if you count, you were on 70 a day. If you multiply from the day you started smoking right up to the present day, you could probably own a small island somewhere.
Probably yes, or a decent motor car. Let's put it that way. Yeah,
easy that. No, but because it's setting fire to your money, isn't it? And
honestly, Alan, to tell you the truth, honestly, I wish I'd never started. But back in the day, it was peer pressure. I think it was.
No, everybody did it. All my mates were smokers, and they're all saying, "Go on, just have the one, Or here's a one with a little bit of green stuff added to it for good measure."
Yeah, of course.
That's what everybody did. So I get it, and it's one of the most addictive things you can possibly do. So
yeah, I mean, back in the day, my dad, when he was alive, he used to say to me on a Friday or a Saturday night, "Howie, let's go out for a pint." And I used to go out with him, and I didn't have a good time though, Alan. You know what I mean? I've never been a big drinker. I've always been the designated driver rather than the big drinker.
Isn't that annoying? Because I was the designated driver after I gave up. And you go to the pub at the beginning of the night, the first couple of pints, it's great because people are actually talking in English and everything. And then you get about 5 or 6 in, and I've had 2 glasses of orange juice, and everyone's and you think,
Alan, what bars do you go to where they only have 5 or 6?
No, but that's when it starts, and it's downhill from there, absolutely. But
the pubs my dad used to go to, man, the doors would shut at 11 o'clock. We never used to get out of there until 2:45 in the morning.
Love-ups, absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot of that going on.
And I would sit there and take a newspaper with me, or do something. Obviously, this before mobile phones and the internet. I'd just do anything just to pass the time, while him and his mates used to talk about work. They'd been at work all week with each other, and used to sit in the pub on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday night and talk about work.
Yeah,
and it used to do my head in.
Absolutely.
But it totally not screwed up my relationships with other people that I had. Consequently, I mean, I'm 55 next year,
right,
and I've only had 2 permanent girlfriends, and neither of those relationships lasted for more than a couple of weeks because of the fact that I wasn't one of those people that goes out on a social night and can get drunk.
Right.
I just don't like it. You know what I mean?
No, I hear that, and I remember when I was in my courting days, and I've had a good few of them, as you know. But in the courting days, if I hadn't clubbed with females that drank, I wouldn't have met anybody either back then, because it was the thing. Everybody wanted to go out for a few drinks, maybe a meal, and then go to a nightclub. And a night would be 5:30 as soon as you got in from work till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning when the taxi took you home.
Depending on whether you had to work the next day. I mean, I had a drink not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. It took me, 4 days to recover, Alan. and I had 4 cans of Guinness, and it took me 4 days to recover. Honestly, I swear I'll never drink again. You know what I mean? It's just.
But that's what happens if you're not used to it. It hits you like a hammer, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Oh, definitely. The hangover was unbelievable. Honestly.
Not worth it.
But I've just been looking through the cupboards tonight before I came on to the YouTube channel. Believe it or not, where I was there at 9 o'clock, thinking you started at 9 rather than 10.
Right.
So for some reason, I don't know why.
Right.
But I found your one of your autobiographies, The Life and Loves of a Night Owl. Honestly, I've read that book. I don't know how many times now. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to start again tomorrow and read it yet again, because I love your strawberry tale.
Right. Oh, well, that's kind of you, Steve. Lovely to hear from you again. After
Thank
it's
you
like
very
talking
much,
to it's long distance family kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's been a lot of years. Lovely catching up, Steve. Stay as well as you can.
I'll certainly try, and I may phone back next week, but I may not. I may give it a miss for a week. Let other people a chance.
Whatever you need. Thank you, Steve. Take care.
More than welcome. Good night.
Bye
bye now.
How nice is that? And again, listener out the blue, and it tends to be what happens. A lot of people still not aware that we're chugging along doing stuff, and we're not going to stop doing stuff ever. And heard some news the other day about the possibility of a book about ghostly, blood-soaked Scotland. So get ready for that in the weeks and months to come. However, do not forget also, in 20 minutes, your first clue for tonight's Who's Hits competition, greatest hits and all of that. We've got a break, and we're coming back yon end of this, talking to the people
the bridge,
that count.
they said, and what
that's you
what
guys.
A thing to look at. Gorgeous
Greatest
looking
Hits
bridge.
Radio.
The Steel River running by,
and she was very, very ill. And what this guy did, he got a hold of his beloved, and
on there when you do that.
That's beautiful. It's just beautiful. But he brought her down to the river's edge, and he mopped her brow with the water of the teas, and he said, "I'm going to love you forever, you know. I'm going to love you forever. You do know that I'm staying with you, and I'll never leave you." And she died in his arms, right here. Died in his arms. And because the guy loved her so much and knew he couldn't live without her, he just, holding her, walked into the river, slid below the water, and stayed with her. And when they found the bodies, they were still holding each other in an embrace. So the people who worked at St. Mary Magdalene Church said, we should put them in the two lovers' tombs. And they did that. And ever since, along this riverbank, you keep seeing sight of a boy and a girl walking hand in hand, kissing, caressing. And some people, they always try and romanticize these things, but it's said that true lovers, if they come down here, feel as if they're being kissed or touched, or hands like rubbing down an arm or whatever. So we're going to go down along Two Lovers Walk and see if we get any of that. And I must say, late at night, this is something, man.
It really is. Long here. Me.
And you're just literally 2 minutes away from the town centre.
Crazy.
And you've got stories like that. Incredible. You're talking there.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. That's like carrying as well on the breeze, isn't it?
It is. How cool is that? Yeah, it sounds like it's coming from over here.
It does. But that's right in the middle of the river.
I know.
That's weird.
How amazing. What a start. Listen.
I can hear voices there.
I can hear voices. I know there's cars in the background, but it's from here. The closer we get along here, the more you can hear the voices.
How is that?
The bridge was built by Bishop Skirlow, apparently, in 1440. So that bridge has been there. How many years? 600, 700?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Me.
Amazing.
And again.
Can you hear that, Tony?
I heard something there. You can hear a shout.
If anybody at home heard that, let us know. Watch out, because it's so close, like we're 10 feet away from us.
It's like here.
Just here, I know. That's ridiculous.
That really is.
Because that is clear.
And that's here, in that water there.
Yeah, just here.
Whoa.
Got the necromancer around here.
Look at the trees.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls. The phone-in that gets you talking.
And our next caller is Mark, who is calling in from Gateshead. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, mate. What you got for us tonight, then?
Well, I did hedgehogs and cats and stuff in the past.
Yeah.
But today it's like armed forces sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm ex-armed forces. I'm ex-artillery, other stuff.
Right.
So it's a bit of a heavy day. But you know, I still look after the animals. I'm probably a bit on a bit of a down note, but
have you? You mentioned you were with the artillery. Have you seen action?
Oh yeah, I was in the artillery.
Yeah, where?
What do you mean where?
Well, where on earth was your conflict? I said, have you seen action? And you said, of course. Well, there's several parts of planet Earth where the British Army have served and fought. I'm just trying to find out where it was that you did.
Yeah, well, I don't really say because I was doing other stuff. I was sort of secret person doing stuff.
Right.
But I can't talk about that.
Right. Okay.
But you know, I look after hedgehogs. I look after cats.
Right.
But today is Remembrance Day, or you know, and all of that. So you know, I'm a bit sad because of people I lost.
Right.
But anyway, right. Well, let's move on. Come on, give me a joke.
Well, you came on to talk about remembrance, but you're not allowed to talk about anybody you remember.
Well, I can't.
Right. Okay. So what did you do to remember it today? Then did you go to any of the services or?
No, I was in bed because I've got a cold.
Right. Okay.
Super cold.
Right.
So I missed all of it, but I watched it later on catch up.
Right.
But don't tell the TV license people that because I've told them I don't have one.
Right.
But
right. That's another one of your secrets, though. So we'll hold it to that.
No. Huh? You what?
I said it's another one of your secrets, so we'll just keep that quiet too.
Well, it's all over the radio now, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is.
TV license bloke's going to come and fucking smash my
door
door
down.
down.
Don't use the F. You don't need to do that. Honestly, it's unnecessary. So he he wanted to talk about Remembrance Day without talking about Remembrance Day because he didn't do anything on Remembrance Day because he's got a cold. 0191 488 3188. And he looks after hedgehogs, which is a good thing. You can't argue with that. So, what about people that did do stuff and could talk about it then?
I had meningitis. There was an air raid, and it was in the goods yard over at Newcastle, just over the river from where I lived.
Right.
And my mum and I couldn't go out the shelter, so we had to sit in our kitchen, as you called it, your living room then, right in the corner where the cupboard was.
Oh, because you were too ill to be moved.
I couldn't go out. We just sat here, and maybe the rest of the family were all in the Anderson shelter, but we just had to sit there. And I can remember hearing the bombs go off. Right. Really frightening, you know.
I know a lot of people say, well, if they were bombing particular targets, then the houses were safe. The reality was they were bombing anything they could, and they were dropping bombs all over the place.
Well, they were wanting the shipyards, weren't they?
Yeah, that's what I am
and armament factories, Armstrongs, you know, the river.
So, if you have a tale to tell, do share it with us. We got somebody on, though, that's doing something fantastic, because if, like me, I like the Christmas songs, but year after year after year, we get hammered with the same ones. They're all greatest hits, no doubt about it. But I think after 20, 30 years of Slade and Wizard and all the other big Christmas hits, you know, the ones that come round and round. Perhaps the more recent one, Mariah Carey, great. But, whoa, hang back. Do you know what I mean? Let's see if we can get a fresh one. I've got somebody online that I believe has a song that may well be the one to do it. His name's Ali Pritchard, and he's with us, I hope, on the line. Hello, Ali.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. Tell me about this track you've put together, and who are you?
So I'm the artistic and executive director of Alphabet Theatre, which is a small theatre in town on St. James Boulevard.
Right.
And yeah, it's a fundraiser track. So the local community of artists, volunteers, have put it together Band-Aid-esque style.
Right.
And I wrote the song with a couple of pals, and we recorded it, and we're releasing it this Friday.
Fantastic. So people can get it where, how?
Yeah, so you can. It's pretty expensive you can buy it on Bandcamp for $5.
Right.
That's obviously quite a lot for one track, but the whole idea is that it's raising funds for the theatre,
right,
for all of our work that we do.
Great.
It's also available on all streaming platforms from Friday.
Brilliant.
As well. So
and it's called what? We know it's by Alphabetti, but what's the name of the track?
So it's called Love From, and it's all about Christmas in 2020 and 2021, and ways that people can connect, and ways that we, as society, overcame the pretty pants nature of the pandemic.
No, for sure. And I would imagine the one good thing that would have come out of all of that downtime, because that's essentially what it was the fact that at least the community, the musical and theatrical communities, kind of hung together in a way that they'd never been able to do before, because they would always be working.
Yeah, I think it really was that, and I think there was it's the stories that came out of local communities, how they came together, was just pretty beautiful. And yeah, it's a really uplifting track. As one of my friends said, it's pretty cheesy, but it's a Christmas song, so you'd expect it to be.
You can forgive a bit of cheese at Christmas. Come on. Cheese and wine's what it's all about. I'm going to play it now, but Ali, thank you very much for talking to us. Let's have a listen to it. Thank you very much for coming on.
Cheers.
Take it easy, man. Bye-bye. Well, if you're wondering what Love from Alphabetti sounds like, it's out this Friday. Have a listen.
Random act of kindness can brighten the day. Slow change the world in a positive way. Sending you this message, love from me. Take this world.
Well, there you go. Just a little taster. Love from Alphabet. You can get that downloaded, supported as well. Local actors, theatrical types and singers from across the north making up Alphabet. Love from Alphabet. Check it out. Now, the stars come out at night. They always do on this particular program. So let us head in the direction of someone else who is Geet famous as out. In this case, it is, of course, our very good friend, Charlene Spiteri.
Highlight and lowlight, best bit and worst bit in the business.
And obviously the amount of success that we've had, which boils back to the fact that we're still here 25 years later. So that's definite highlight. Low is probably at the point just before we made White on Blonde, when we were making it and just nobody cared and nobody sort of believed in us. You were kind of like, you'd had success and you kind of just nothing to the record company. They were just they were too busy with the new stuff and they just sort of blanked it.
But you showed them.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, you got to show yourself, and it doesn't really matter who else you show, but you kind of show yourself that you can do it and that you're capable of it, and then there's no point in doing it. It should always be about you.
Absolutely. I can imagine. I mean, we're in a time when somebody can be a star last year and you don't know who they are this year.
Yeah, it can be last week nowadays. They can be a star last week and use it.
Things have changed. Texas go on, hurrah. Charlene's been a joy.
The night vision, body cam.
Just there's.
It's like when you use a water wheel on like a disco light you use sometimes. There's a water wheel. That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
It does.
Like a watery, wavery.
I just think that's incredible. Because we've got our torches in the water.
Yeah. That is crazy.
That's mad. I hope somebody's catching that.
Oh, get that on the night cam.
I've got voices again up ahead.
All right. Somebody saying what, use a necromancer already?
Oh, the necromancer, yeah. Just we had a bit of interference before. Can you pick up the slack? Yeah. Go for it.
Front. What, do you need this torch then?
No, switch it off.
Sure.
Yeah, positive.
Turn that one off. He says. Or maybe not. Leaves again everywhere.
It's so much kit these days. Yeah, we're heading towards a building that has got an amazing history, and we're heading in there soon enough.
Half a mile.
But in the meantime, let's get the necromancer working to the maximum.
It's gone there. 7 million bricks to build that. Look at it.
I'm looking for 2 lovers. Yeah, lovers. She just said lovers. Did you hear that? Hello. Talk to us.
No, this has got serious now. Like, this is real.
We're doing the 2 lovers walk.
At all. I've got trees that are overhanging above us, and it gives you like a complete arch above you. So you're like enclosed on both sides.
Were you about here?
I've got a river literally 2 yards from us on my right hand side. And I don't want to be falling
into busy here, isn't it?
At all. Left hand side is a
You feeling that, Tony?
So you've just got
freezing cold all of a sudden.
Dark black path.
It's been mild tonight, but there's just that. Is that you guys? He. Where's your beloved? You wouldn't let her go.
Still hear voices.
Speak to us. Did you stay with your woman? Yes. Good.
Winds just blowing through the branches of the trees as well, making it even more eerie.
Of course,
noises.
There's also a huge viaduct here.
And there can't be
I
anything
don't know
there.
whether
It's a
you
river.
saw it before.
It's a
You'll
wide
see it
river
far
as
better
well.
when we
So
come out of
there's
the
no
True Lovers Walk.
Or anything down there.
But on the day the viaduct was built, it was finally finished. Before it was open to the public, somebody jumped off to their death. And as recently as a few years ago, a senior police officer chose to take his life here. And there's been so many other stories of people leaping from that. And that adds to the fact that this particular area is haunted. Is anyone with us? Are you with us? Kenny?
Yeah.
You need to stay a bit closer, mate.
Okay.
Why did you take your life when your lover died? Die. I know you died. Why did you take your life? Of course. We know you love her. You stayed with her on the other side.
Fish. That's a fish.
I heard fish too. You went in with a fish. That's for sure. You can hear words much clearer with this mic, can't you?
You definitely can. That sounded like I died there.
Yeah. You said yeah.
Yeah.
Are you proud that they named the? Are you proud? Are you proud they named this area, this walkway, after you two? Yes.
That was clear, that.
And your bodies are entombed in the church. You getting that?
Freezing cold here. It's freezing here anyway. It just all of a sudden.
But it was mild when we came down
Yeah,
here.
it was lovely.
That's
freezing here.
Just cold.
Cold blasts straight around here. That's weird.
Amazing. I thought we did well with that.
I think you did very well with that.
Might as well try a one of our, see if there is anything picked up here.
Especially here, in this area here.
Because we're getting the cold.
Yeah, just here.
Just here. In fact, it's actually a bit closer.
It is.
Over there.
It is.
I'm asking you a question about it.
Over here.
Let's see what we get. No sign so far.
I guarantee it's here.
You say it's there?
I think it's here. Just freezing cold here.
And we're getting cold moving around us.
Yeah.
Presence detected, hang on. We're getting a message from something here. Yeah.
Just here.
Yeah.
Next to the water.
Right next to the water, just here. And what's the message? You are unsettling everything.
Oh my God. That's not good.
From a lost spirit, it says.
We're unsettling everything. I don't think that's
We're
a good
not
sign.
aiming.
No.
We're not aiming to do that.
No, not at all.
Just have you looked into that river? Just how amazing it is.
Oh, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's just like... Go on. Oh, what's that? Hang on, let's just... I'll put in the river.
Just I'm getting something here.
Just in the river?
Not even the river, just here. Let's see. Right.
Something touched the zebra.
Something touched you?
I'm guessing it was a leaf.
There are leaves falling. No question about it.
I'm guessing that was a leaf that fell there. Something just touched my hand.
Yeah. Could have been. There's some about. And that just, you know, it's not windy here.
This is the home of Alan Robson's Night Owls.
With the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
That is who we are. We promised you 4 clues. Each clue is a separate song, and you've got to put them all together and find out whose greatest hits all of those songs are. Your first clue is this. Some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? Okay. Some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? Okay. To avoid getting what? That's your first clue. The answer is a greatest hits song. But whose? And do not try and answer it until you've heard all 4. Okay, that's the deal. So there you go. Some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? Question mark. There you go. Okay, let's get back to the game. We've been talking about your favorite things. We've been talking about military life and all that kind of thing. Remembrance, how important is it? Should we? Some people believe it's glorifying warfare and similar. Tell me your stories do. We also, Tales of Sneaking About, that Animals program, if anybody saw it. Also, we talked about rock behavior and pop behavior. What's the worst thing you've seen a celeb do on stage? Something that shocked you or surprised you? I remember back in the day watching a band called WASP, W-A-S-P, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant is the name of the band. And Blackie Lawless, the lead vocalist, used to come out and chuck raw meat into the audience. And we all thought that was fairly radical. However, and of course, punks used to spit at their audiences, but a band called Brass Against, their vocalist urinated into a fan's mouth on stage. Now, I'm sorry, but that's not something you want to see. Surely to goodness. Also, Eddie the Daily Mirror Man is what his name is, according to his email. And he sent me a very long message. I've tried to paraphrase it. Basically, he says, the Tories lied to us about the National Health Service getting a lot of money. They lied to us about the disaster that Brexit has become. They are nothing but lies and sleaze. Now, a lot of people have had those kind of messages in the press. One of the headlines for The Independent was something very similar to that. Where do you stand with the government? I know a lot of people don't think that Labour are up to taking over. Some do. The North used to be, traditionally, a Labour stronghold. And then Tony Blair came in and changed all of that with a different kind of Toryism, really, because it wasn't really Labour what he did. Or was it? Where do you stand on all of this? If you want to get into the whole political thing, well, you can. Feel free. 0191 488 312. David Johnson sent in some very dubious jokes, like, why did bread break up with margarine? Because he found a butter lover. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Talk about chestnuts, David. Here's another one. Do you hear about the first restaurant to open on the moon? It had great food, but no atmosphere. And slightly better, this one. What did one ocean say to the other ocean? Nothing. It just waved. That's David there in Jarrow. And also Suzanne's been on. She's still in King's Lynn. You remember last week we heard that her sister had passed, sadly. The funeral's on the 24th of this month. I've heard some funny things that my sister has said and done. My brother-in-law said that she made light of what was happening with her. I don't know how a person can be so brave as she was. My sister picked her own flowers to go on top of the coffin. She picked out her own headstone, but the one we all had to laugh at, when she picked her own coffin and asked to make sure it was rat-proof. She was so brave, still had a sense of humour. That's from Sue in Washie, currently, obviously, in King's Lynn, taking care of that kind of business. We wish her well. 01914883188. Has members of your family been brave and strong in the face of the inevitable? And it's awful that any of our family members and friends should be in such a way. If you want to talk about that, feel free. Let's get into the calls. Simon's with us next, and he is in Peterlee. Hiya, Simon.
Hey, Alan, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. What's happening with you then?
Good. Favourite things?
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a big fan of live music.
Absolutely.
And you can tell from my voice I'm suffering for it now because I caught COVID at my last gig.
Oh, believe me.
So I mean, I'm on day 6 now. So
right.
I was all right on the Monday.
Right.
So this gig was on a Sunday. I was all right on the Monday. Started to feel a little bit ropey on the Monday night.
Right.
Tuesday, a little bit worse, and I thought, no, I might be middle-aged, but I can't suffer from a hangover that long.
So you tried anaesthetic earlier on, then I gather. At the gig, you attempted to get rid of it with alcohol, but it didn't quite work.
Yeah. So then I did a test. I did a test on Wednesday morning, and I tested positive, and I thought, this is all I need.
So what's your symptoms then, Si?
Well, when I first started, it just felt like it's like a mild cold, if you like.
Right.
And then after I'd done my test on the Wednesday morning, it decided to pull its hobnail boots on and its steelies and give me a right old clout.
Right.
Because by Wednesday dinner time, I was on my knees, and Thursday I was coughing, my head was pounding. And so I live with my partner,
right.
And she's got a heart condition. She's got diabetes and COPD.
Right.
So I'll sleep out on the couch, and she's in our bedroom, and I've had to wear a mask, obviously, while we're sitting in the sitting room. But it was absolutely awful for 2 days. I mean, I was all right yesterday.
Good.
And I felt a bit better today, and I thought, I'll take my dog out for a walk around the block.
Right.
20 minutes, I came back and I was absolutely haggard.
Right,
I was huffing like the steam train.
Right.
Oh, it was terrible. So I'm on the mend now, which, you know, thankfully I'm happy about that.
Sure.
But it's on the back of that, it's I can't understand my partner, her sister, and her 2 children. They're anti-vaxxers. They think it's a plot, and I can't understand, because for me, I'm thankful I've had the vaccine, because I dread to think because I have asthma, I dread to think if I was hospitalised or worse still.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And better safe than sorry. Always, that's the cry. Bottom line is, we've heard far too many people really suffering, and we've lost a few, so we don't want to lose any more. But I just love the fact that, because obviously you're in a household with somebody who is especially at risk, I love the fact that immediately, because it would be so easy, I think, especially blokes being blokes, because we suffer worse than any woman ever suffers. And I don't know what that's about. Maybe they're gutsier than us, so they got a higher pain threshold. But to men were weak. And but the fact that right from the beginning, it was never about you, says a lot about you, that I had to protect her, mask on, sleeping downstairs. Because I think a lot of blokes would have said, I'm going to bed now, bring us a cup of tea and a slice of toast.
Oh,
I could imagine. So absolute respect to you, because you did the right thing.
Thank you. So as I say, music is my favourite thing.
So hang on, favourite things. You love the music. How do you remember it? Because yes, you can remember it in your head, but do you keep the gig tickets? Do you try and get a program if it's a big enough gig? How do you remember all of these amazing live nights that you've had?
Anything and everything. We're lucky. As a friend of ours, and he's big in our scene. He's a photographer from Heaven. He's called Will Binks. He's got his own business. Right, to say business, it's not his business. He doesn't do it for money or anything. He just does it to keep a record of our scene. Will Binks Photography, and he comes to all the gigs, and he's got his own Flickr page where you can download the pictures, etc., and they're all free. You can take, you can screenshot the pictures and print them off, whatever. He's not bothered.
Great.
So it's that kind of thing, and CDs.
Sure.
And I'm actually starting to get back into me vinyl, which is a bit of a con, I suppose, because I'm 54, and I just think, well, we all started it off with the vinyl, then they told us get it on cassette, and then they told us on CD.
Yeah.
Then digital download, and then, now it's vinyl.
You do realise in about 20 years they'll be saying, we've got a new kind of CD for you now, and then it'll be, we've got a new kind of cassette for you. This is going to run, I think, over the next 20, 30 years. But I remember the horror, and it was genuine horror, when they said, there's going to be no such thing as vinyl anymore, because I just managed to get pretty much all the albums I wanted. And then they go, and they're doing what? You got to buy it again on a different what? And then, of course, you build it up on CD, and they say, it's all downloads now. You don't need any space. It's...
And then if you remember, you could go to any independent record shop or Woolworths or something like that, and you could get a vinyl for what, $6.99, $7.99, something like that.
Yeah, not now.
And now you're looking at 25, 30 quid for something that you bought for pennies back in the day with your pick and mix.
That is true. And also, even in the West End, where I was brought up as a kid, there used to be a shop on Adelaide Terrace, for those that know the West End, called Malaby's. And once a week, they would go out and they'd buy like the top 20, and they'd bring it back to the shop, like 2 or 3 copies each, so that the people locally could buy their favourite top 10, top 20 records. They weren't a record shop. It was like a furniture shop, but in the corner, they had the little record bit. And I thought that was really cool, because you'd go in there every week and say, what's in the top 10 this week? If you hadn't got it on Top of the Pops on the previous Thursday. So
isn't that brilliant?
Yeah, excellent. I just thought there was something special about vinyl. And I feel the same way now, kind of about CDs, because I'm one of the, and I know it's probably oldie worldy now, but I like the idea that you get something in your hand that you, do you know what I mean? And, albums to me were art forms, they were something quite spectacular. And
if you've got a decent gatefold.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can read the story, and all the lyrics are there, and, all the stuff that's missing with a digital download.
Yeah, it's. I think what kicked it off, me best mate gave me a copy of Never Mind That Bleep of Sex Pistols.
Excellent.
And it's actually an original 1977 Virgin Records vinyl.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to get back into that. I have to be pick and choose, because obviously with the price of them.
Right.
But you can still pick up decent vinyl from charity shops.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And at a decent price. And the funny thing is, you would think because they're in a charity shop, the records are going to be destroyed, with scratches and all.
Yeah.
And yet the ones that I've come across, they're not used. They've never been used, a lot of these things. People have bought them thinking, well, I'll play that a lot, and they haven't bothered. I don't understand that at all. But when you see in a big supermarket, these big super hypermarket types, there's one or two of them that sell vinyl, and you look at the prices of them and you go, that's 5 times what it was when I bought that first time round. Yeah, that's just taking the mickey. Truly is.
Yeah.
Hey, but lovely stuff, Simon. Thank you very much. Get well, for heaven's sake. Finish off
Thank
getting
you,
well. Look after that, missus. And lovely talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
And speak to you soon.
Look forward to it. Bye-bye. Live gigs and stuff. What mementos have you got from the great gigs? One of the things that I would have loved, never got a chance to see the Beatles live. Love the Beatles. Funnily enough, probably more now than I did when they were out. However, I would have loved to have been to see one of their gigs and had one of those ticket stubs from one of the few places that they played around the north, because they did. 0191 488 3188. Quick break. We're back after this on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Give us a call, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, it's freezing.
I'll take the torch again. Thank you.
Cool.
Get up ahead so that you can get a clear view, but stay within about 10 meters or so.
Okay.
Or feet are yards, because I'm old school. Picnic place maybe down here.
Be careful.
I know, man.
Because you're right next to the edge there.
Yeah, see it. The water looks red. Or is that just me?
It's a strange colour, mine, isn't it, down here?
Look at this. Tony, come and have a look.
That's all red there when you put your torch there.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Looks like
what's that with then?
Blood soaked.
What is that with?
Wait, it can't be with any. How do you make an entire river red?
That's crazy, that.
It looks even
more.
more.
Think of reddy brown, yeah.
Look at that. I know there's been a lot of.
There's a squeak over the other side. You hear that?
You can.
Yes.
Over there.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Like a squeak again?
There's something out there. What's that in the water?
I think it's just a leaf, isn't it?
Is it a leaf? Branch.
One of the stories about this place, this area of Yarm was attacked by the Scots and savaged on 5 separate occasions. On the 5th occasion, it was led, the Scots came down here led by Robert the Bruce, of all people. And it said that the people of Yarm were so desperate to escape, instead of fighting, they poured from the town, which is the next street along, a street called Westgate. It used to be the main street of Yarm. They poured from their homes to escape the Scots, and they ran into the river. But the river at that time was ravaging. It was raging because there'd been floods and heavy rain. And more people died of drowning in the river than were killed by the Scots. But explain to me how that water is now not red.
That is crazy.
Explain to me how that's not red now. Do you see it?
Yeah.
It's not red anymore.
How's that then?
How is that possible?
You know, you've seen there's no wind before. Look, all of a sudden it just went.
Yeah, I can see the movement. You can see the movement on the water as well.
You can feel it.
But the water's now watercolor.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. It's not red.
No, it's not.
How? How's that possible?
I have no idea. That is just absolutely crazy.
I presume that's you beeping.
Weird things happened.
It's not you. Oh. Pothole.
Oh, don't.
Watch your step. That's moles. That's a mole hill there.
The mole lives in a hole.
I've just put my foot in it.
Right, so I'll just step out.
Yeah, step out.
10 metres in front.
See what you say.
Turn
Or
me
feel
torch
or
off.
see. Tell us all.
So you can see
Can't
properly.
explain that water. What can make a river look like it's running red and then not? How? Just think of the physics of that amount of water. Bizarre.
Jesus. Nearly went.
Come on, let's rock on. Come on, let's put a spurt on and we'll try and get to that cemetery because time's pressing and we've got to get to we've got a brilliant building from 1822 to come and visit. But we had to come across here because there's so many stories. I want to see those starstruck lovers walking. Oh, God. What are you seeing at home?
There's noises here.
Can you see that, Tony? Oh, look at that. As soon as I mentioned it, the trees start to shed just in the distance.
With a dark
shadowy thing.
Yeah.
That's wild. I hope somebody at home's seeing that. Yeah, there's another one in between the trees. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's two figures in the distance.
Blackness.
I wanted to see two figures. That's two figures.
Left. Just here.
You always wonder if there's some kind of natural explanation, but that was pretty good. Two dark shapes, Kenny, down the path.
Seriously, there's noises here.
Noises. What are you getting?
There's just like rustling noises just next to me, yeah?
Right.
In the trees.
You've got to be careful because we're walking in a lot of...
We are. But that's not that.
And the glorious River Tees. Another big river. So close to it. Have you seen how close the river is?
I know. I'm saying you could quite easily just walk into there, couldn't you, and fall.
But it's not red.
Look at that. No, it's not red.
Whoa. Whoa.
Go on.
Shine up there. Oh, I think it's something.
Is that a sign?
Reflective, I think.
Yeah.
I just saw the glimpse of something.
It is a sign, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm hoping it is. Damn me.
Just we've walked, for like 15, 20 minutes, and we've heard a ton of history that I bet most people in Yarm don't even know.
They wouldn't have a clue. They wouldn't have any idea.
That's why we do that stuff on Robson's World. We try and let people know what's on in their own backyard, pretty much.
It's the only way you're going to learn.
It's
the best way to learn history, most entertaining.
Cheapest.
Look at that expanse of water there, man.
But could you imagine if you're running away, trying to get away from the Scots, and this was in flood?
You wouldn't make it, would you?
You'd never get across there.
Nah, you'd
have to be a hell of a swimmer.
How's that there?
What's what?
What's that?
Almost looks like a seat, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It really does.
Right, let's get to that church.
Alan Robson's Night Owls.
The phone-in that gets you talking.
So what do you want to talk about tonight? Santa Claus has just sent me an email. Hi, Alan. Big shout out to all that came to Dalton Park Christmas Parade on Saturday to start off the festive season. was great to see all the boys and girls waving and shouting, ho, ho, ho. Then I swapped the sleigh and reindeer for a motorbike, and the guys from Brothers from Other Mothers biker group from Facebook put on their reindeer onesies and escorted me down to Billingham. Hambledon Square Christmas lights turn on. The guys that run this do it for the community, and massive respect to them for raising money for charity too. Lights, house and garden decorations, a gift for all the kids too. It was a fantastic night. The video entitled "Is There Something Strange on the A19?" About 20 cars videoed us with the Ghostbusters Ecto 1 car. Next, I'm popping into South Shields Grotto at Haven Point throughout December, organised by South Tyneside Council. Please give the guys from Hambledon Square a big thank you. They are the top of my nice list for the second year running. Thanks, Alan, says Santa. He sent some pictures in a video that I'm quite happily going to put on Robson's World if anybody wants to have a look at that. Because UK Santa is real. It's official. Right, so your first clue, we mentioned a little bit earlier on. Some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? Think of a song title that fits that. 3 more for you to work out. But we've got Adam, and he is with us in Langley Park in Durham. Hello, Adam.
Hi, Alan. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you very much for coming on. What are you talking about tonight?
So it was just a quick call, really. I heard you talking to Steve before about how he's having he's trying to quit smoking and he's having some difficulty with it.
Yeah.
Like going on to the vape and things. And I just wanted to. I hope Steve, you're still listening, because I wanted to pass on some words of encouragement.
Go for it.
Because I was the same. Like I smoked for years, decades even, which is appalling, but decades. And I got down to the point where from a financial point of view, I couldn't have been smoking any cheaper. I went on to rolling my own, and I went from something like £8-9 a day to like £13 a fortnight, which I thought was really good on rolling my own, you know.
Right.
But then I thought, I'm smoking as cheaply as humanly possible. But now I think I want to just give up on health grounds. Like I always said, when I'm 30 I'll quit, when I'm 35 I'll quit, when they hit a £5 a packet I'll quit. Well, I just went to the cheaper options.
Right.
But then I got to 40 and I was like, right, I always said I would quit when I'm 40, and I did, and I stopped in January, and I started on the vape.
How easy was it? Because everybody tells me it's a nightmare, especially the longer, and you've had a lot of time to absorb a lot of nicotine, man.
It is. It's not easy. And what I wanted to say to Steve particularly is just what he was saying, like, rung true with me, and I was exactly the same. Like, when you start with the vape, you're choking yourself, and it's like, oh my God, this is horrible. But I thought back to when I started smoking as a kid, and it was exactly the same. It was horrible. I was choking, and the people who got me into it were just like, oh yeah, it is like that, but you just have to get used to it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you're smoking for the next 20, 30 years. It's the same with vaping, or I found it was the same with vaping.
So you got all kind of coffee and chesty with it?
Yeah, it was a different kind of hit. It was like on the back of your throat. It was just, I don't know how to describe it, but Steve will know what I'm talking about. It's just different, and it's really intense, and like, it's just really, really horrible. But then when you think back to when you were a kid and you started smoking cigarettes was the same.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have to get used to it.
Yes.
And I want to be that little voice on Steve's shoulder now that was on my shoulder when I was a kid and started smoking, that said, it's like that now, but you'll get used to it. So stick with it, Steve. Just persevere with the vape. You do have to get used to it, but once you get used to it, you just feel so much better. I mean, I started my quitting smoking coincided with me getting a mountain bike to get out the house during lockdown, and I actually called you. I don't know if you remember, and told you about how that went down.
Right.
I had a rapid unscheduled deceleration while crossing the River Bowney.
Yeah, I remember.
But one of the most amazing things is, like, after 8 months, I mean, I got to a point where when I was riding my bike, after not smoking for 8 months, and I could actually feel the point where my lungs were inflating up to where they would have got to when I was smoking.
Wow. Right.
And then I could feel them going beyond that and inflating further. It was so bizarre.
That's
you
great.
can actually feel like your lungs getting bigger and healthier. And I just wanted to say, Steve, try the vape. I know it's horrible when you first start, but get one that's like low power. It's not like a steam engine, and just stick with it and see where you get. Persevere.
You're the perfect person for me to ask this as well. There've been a few people critical of vaping for 1,000 other reasons, saying, "Oh, yeah, it's like handing on one crutch to another." There's still some people that think that vaping isn't good for you. Have you noticed any negative with it, or not?
I would, apart from, the teething period that I'm just talking about,
Yeah.
not really, apart from just finding a flavour that doesn't absolutely disgust you, like vaping on blueberry fruit bomb just doesn't work for me. And then I tried the tobacco flavour ones and they were vile, but I've gone for like a watermelon or a black cherry and something like that, and they seem to work for me.
Right.
But apart from the odd blip over the past 7, 8, 9 months, where I've had a couple of tabs,
right,
it's been great. And what I will say is, I handed in all of my uni work a couple of weeks ago, and as a celebration, I went to the pub and had 7 tabs that day.
Right.
And then I got on my bike 3 days later, and I could hardly breathe going up a hill.
Right.
So
Right.
absolutely, there is positives to it. Yeah, you're filling your lungs with a chemical, but God, it's so many less chemicals than what's in a flaming cigarette.
Yeah. Why the need to do the backslide? Was vaping not enough, or did you consider it sufficient of a treat? Because it kind of backfired on you when you got on the bike, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a treat. I thought, okay, I've finally finished all my uni work. Me and my classmates were going to the pub. 1 or 2 of us still smoked, and I says, "Can I scrounge a fag?" Because that presentation was really, really stressful.
Right.
And I thought it would make a nice bookend. I was like, end of my uni work, end of smoking forever. I'll just have a couple. And honestly, 3 days later, I was suffering for it, and that just made me actually realise, yeah, like I did the right thing.
I just thought, I find the whole thing about the whole smoking thing, because I had a father that was a smoker for a lot of years, and he tried to give it up and he couldn't. And every morning when he got up for work, and he used to work shifts, like 6 till 2, 2 till 10, 10 till 6. If he got up at stupid o'clock in the morning, 5:30 to get into work, he always sounded, he was coughing like there was an alien coming out of him, it was, and, and he never changed. His whole life.
I would quite agree with that, because when I was smoking, I think one of probably the chief driver that got me to actually stop was I was getting to a point where I'd have a couple of tabs before I went to bed, even though I was down to maybe like 5, 6 a day, but I'd have 1 or 2 before I went to bed. And when I would wake up in the morning, my chest was rattling in the morning.
Yeah, I bet.
And since I've been on the vape, I'm probably pounding that more than I would cigarettes.
Right.
But I don't wake up with a rattly chest in the morning.
Right. No, it's all positive stuff, man. All positive. But thank you for coming on, because it is the kind of thing that I don't think, it certainly sounded to me like he was his adventure with vaping was over by the sound of things. But if he could turn the corner like you.
Yeah, turn that corner and stick with it. Just get used to it. It's a different kind of hit. But, oh my goodness, you won't wake up with a rattly chest in the morning. So
good on you. Good on you. Hey, nice one, Adam. Thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
No problem. Cheers. Hey, positive stuff. What do you reckon? 0191 488 3188. The vaping thing. Are you for it? Are you against it? The only thing that I'll say about vaping is, when I was little, you'd often see groups of men hanging around on a sweet corner having a cigarette or whatever. And they used to be able to smoke in pubs, and I worked social clubs for a number of years. And sometimes you couldn't even see the back of the audience for that cloud of smoke that used to hang in a room. And now...
Right. And Tony and I'll go up to the cemetery.
Okay.
And we'll meet you back.
I'm well happy with that.
At the hall. Is that all right?
I'm well happy not having to go in the cemetery. Yeah.
The way you're going does say danger keep out there.
Oh, that's maybe not so great then.
Something like that.
He's just a rebel and he'll never be any good.
No. I'm the key man.
There's the crystals one. It is true. You're going to let us in.
I've got the key. I've got the
But
secret.
to have this so close to a high street, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, this is the thing, and loads of people will not take the time to come down here and see this, will they? And know about what's happened here. They'll not have a clue.
It's amazing. There's the church we're going to, just through there. Just we can't climb over the spiky wall, but there's the church. Light it up, Ken.
Glad you're going to
church. There you go.
Glad you're on the graveyard.
Graveyard
Need
shift.
to change.
Been on the graveyard shift all my life.
Yeah.
Right, so you're going to be all right along here. Be careful. Watch your step, man.
I'll be fine, he says.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
There's that. Oh, did you hear that?
What was that?
Like a growl.
It was like I thought it was.
Wow.
I thought it was actually. I thought it was you just going.
No, I've just gone.
Yeah.
That's what it was from there, where you're going.
Oh, don't.
Well, that's where it came from. It was up here.
Oh man, don't.
And hey,
oh.
you can imagine two young lovers sitting down there, having a picnic, watching the.
Look at that water, man.
Watching the river flow, as Bob Dylan once said for money.
Banks of the river. Who wrote that again? Was River Banks or something? Was that Rudyard Kipling?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Ken.
Neither am I.
We're meandering again.
We are. Oh,
we're allowed to do that.
That is a sign, look, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Footpath closed ahead.
Great.
Voices?
Again, to the right, where
Voices.
the river is. It's
where the
always
river
where
is.
the river is. Do you know what it sounds like? As if someone's on a little boat on the river.
There's
two
nobody-
people, like, just sort of maybe, paddling
Following.
up there. Yeah. It's weird.
That's where it came from, though. They heard the growl.
Yeah.
There you go. So we weren't sort of just, imagining it. It is happening. Oh, look at that man underneath there.
Makes it almost look like the ground. You could imagine
doesn't it?
Running down there and then coming a crop because that's water. Right, Kenny.
That's a strange noise.
Good luck. We'll see you in 25 minutes.
So where am I going?
You're
Along here?
going along there.
Right.
And then joining
Am I?
us back.
Look how close you are to the river, man.
You could certainly.
This is
have
ridiculous.
Flown down here.
Look
if you came down that alley in a bike,
Look
you'd be
at
straight
that.
off the end here.
Straight off. That's so close to just, you're walking in the water. That is.
Can you hear that?
What, like a gurgling.
I thought you were wetting yourself.
It's like a gurgle noise.
0191 488 3188.
This is Night Owls.
And Steve has got back to us about vaping. He says, can you tell Alan that I used to have cherry menthol flavoured vape, but as the caller said, it did my throat in with each inhale on minimum power. Not good. I don't suppose it's going to be for everybody. He says persevere because it's better than the damage that you're doing day after day, even if it's rolly. So 0191 488 3188. Get to those telephones. We have, I think Alan's coming on next, about something that none of you rang about last week when I was expecting a bumper bundle of calls about fireworks and bonfire night and whether or not it lives up to what it used to back in the day. Alan is in Cramlington. Let's head there. Hi, Alan.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate. So, what about... Okay. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. What about fireworks, then?
I just, like, on a night, when you're trying to lie down, and then you see the flashes kind of all over the place.
Right.
I mean, I know it's nice, but...
Well...
It gets a bit annoying.
Are you talking just about bonfire night, or has it been going on for weeks now?
Oh, that's still doing it now, man.
Right. Yeah, I presume that was the case. If it's just the week leading up to bonfire night, you can kind of cope with it. But if it goes on forever, it stops being fun after a while, doesn't it?
Aye.
Right, okay.
The thing is, it's like, well, when the clouds were going up, I was taken into hospital, actually.
Oh, blame, why? What happened?
Apparently, I went to get up to go to the toilet, and I passed out, and looking up, I fell on my bed.
Right,
And I went to hospital, obviously, the one in Compton, that new one.
Right, yeah.
And it goes, the cheek up blood pressure, and the blood was in it, and apparently my blood pressure was really, really low.
Right, oh, blame me, right. That'll do it.
And it goes, well, see, we'll keep you in for a little bit longer.
Right.
Says, once this, little bag's got to hang up, it goes, once that runs out, says, if you want to go back home, we'll get it back home. I said, I'll go back home, mate.
Yeah, I bet.
I said, because I've been lying on the bed on my back.
Right, sure.
I said, my back's breaking, man. And it goes right. And I've been trying to get one of them mobility scooters on.
All right, yeah.
But apparently I can't afford to buy one then, you see.
Right.
And I was wondering if anyone here listeners had one going to
Right, okay. Well, I mean, some people do inherit them from family members that had them. Has anybody got a mobility scooter? What exactly is your health issue then? Did they manage to diagnose what's wrong with you then?
They say that I've got I'm bad walking.
Right.
But
do they know why?
Apparently it's the blood circulation in my legs.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll find out. We'll see if anybody's got one kicking around, and if so, if they're prepared to pass it on, we'll sort that out for you. That's not an issue.
And apparently, I've got lots of memory now.
Right.
Which I never used to have.
Right. That's just we had a couple of totally different symptoms, if you know what I mean. Opposite ends of the body. Weird.
Yeah. And then
what did they give you for that then? Did they treat you? Did they give you tablets? Were they doing anything for that?
They give me nothing whatsoever because they were like young students and they didn't know what they were talking about.
Right. Well, that's not helpful. Have you been back to your ordinary doctor in the meantime to see if you can get to the bottom of it?
Minister says, "What's your number?" It's to put on the video.
It's 0191 488 3188.
Yeah, but no, you want to put like the radio on?
Oh,
Your
right.
frequency?
Right. Oh, that's a good question. I'm not even sure that I know.
You didn't even know yourself?
No, because are you doing this through your
phone?
Like your Alexa? Are you doing it through your telephone? So, what is our frequency then?
Well, it's the radio. What do you want to put on?
You want to know the radio frequency?
Yeah, because
it's 11:52 a.m. is what it is. 11:52 a.m. It's on a smart speaker and it's also on DAB, which is where most people get us. So you can do that on the telephone as well. You know, if you go on, and if you go onto Facebook or YouTube, we're on there and you can watch it as well as listen to it. It's just when you ask for frequencies, so few people actually listen to a frequency. You know, they've got it through their devices now. So that was why I got. I didn't. But 11:52 a.m. is our official radio frequency. So there you go.
So how's yours in on the list?
I hope so. We're divorced, but fingers crossed.
Sorry. You were saying. Yeah, I remember Rosie.
Oh, that's all right. I know. Not a worry. Don't worry about it. But good talking to you. Thank you very much for coming on. 0191 488 3188. Whatever you want to talk about, pick up your telephone. Let's get busy. Piece of music and a star coming out at night. Let's do that right now. The band is Earth, Wind and Fire. Can't get better than that because they're great. So I thought we'd talk to them about starting out.
Well, this is Philip. I'm from Denver, Colorado, the beautiful Mile High State.
Yeah.
And I'm Verdine. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
And this is Ralph. I'm from Los Angeles, the city of the angels.
So how do you gather the clans to get everybody together and also have the same vision of doing this gigantic project?
Well, this is Verdine. The group was started in Chicago by my brother, the leader, the founder, Maurice White, around the late 60s, when he was still the drummer for the Ramsey Lewis Trio.
Right.
And he had an idea about putting a band together that encompasses all the music, from jazz to rock, to pop, to Latin, to gospel. And then right after that, in 1970, he migrated out to Los Angeles, and I came right behind him in June of 1970. And then a little bit over a year later, we met Philip and met Ralph, and then we just continued this journey on Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm giving you sort of abbreviated view.
Sure.
But this is kind of like how the genesis of the band started and working on the sound that became Earth, Wind and Fire.
Can you hear that?
It's like a gurgling.
I thought you were wetting yourself.
It's like a gurgle noise.
Oh, it's there. It's there.
It's there, is it?
There's water running in from here.
Ah, right. Swans have gone.
I can't stand next to that for any length of time, otherwise I'll be needing to pay a visit.
Right.
Get to a certain age.
So I'm going along here.
Apparently so.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it actually even a footpath?
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
It's another mile, Kenny, at least.
What? Are you sure?
Goodness me.
Enjoy the graveyard.
Thank you. Yeah, we're coming up here. Again, the Lover's Walk goes around in a circle. And it comes up here.
I'm not sure that this is even... Can even make it off, so we won't share a splash.
Right, and you'll get all of that footage when the time comes. But we're going to tell the greatest story of courage you have ever heard in your life. So make sure you share, please, and you'll get yourself one of our badges and a few other bits and bobs that we find lying around. Nice little goodie bag for you. So get ready for that. But you've got to come up here first. Come on, let's march up this narrow path. Yeah. starting to feel it a bit. You know, we told you about the viaduct. There it is, straight ahead. I hope you can make it out with the lights of the street that we're going to be walking into any second. Here is the street. Now, here we are. Now, I want to take you back to an amazing time. 1762. 1762. King George II, right? Now, back in those days, the kings went into battle with armor and swords. And England, Britain, particularly northern soldiers, went across to Europe to fight the French alongside Hanoverian troops and Austrian troops, because the royal family were and still are essentially German. So they're going over there to face the French. 70,000 French. Picture that. St. James's Park, full. You know, full. Plus 20 more thousand people. It's a lot. 70,000 French, 50,000 Allied troops. They knew it was going to be hard. They knew they probably would not survive. Come into my cemetery. We'll tell you the tale while we're looking around, because I want to introduce you to the bravest man in history so far that I've ever heard about. This guy was born in Redcar. However, he became an apprentice cobbler here in Yarm. At the time, Yarm was the biggest, most important port on the River Tees, more important than any other Teesside town. There were shipbuilders, nailers, riveters, brewers. It was the place to be, Yarm. And he was a apprentice cobbler right here. And he joined the army to go off and fight with King George II in a particular battle in Austria. 50,000 Allied troops took on the 70,000 French, and the battle went horrifically wrong, very badly wrong. Now, it all started to go pear-shaped when a Frenchman captured the king's standard, not just the flag of England or Austria or Hanover, the English king's flag, the royal standard. And once this Frenchman had it, he rode into the French lines, waving it about, saying, "You are defeated." And it made a lot of the Allies drop their heads. They started to retreat, they started to run away. And of course, the French were behind them, hacking away, trying to finish them off. So one man who used to be an apprentice cobbler here in Yarm, his name was Tom Brown. He decided to jump on a horse and race into the French lanes to get the standard back. 2 horses were killed under him. Each time he fell, he got up, killed a Frenchman on a horse, took his horse and rode after the standard. He didn't stop there. He got so close to the standard, he was reaching out for it when a Frenchman slashed him with his saber and took off 3 of his fingers. And it didn't stop him. He got back on his horse and he rode back towards the guy carrying the English king's standard. He grabbed the flag, killed the Frenchman, stuck the flag down his tunic into the saddle, and he turned to try and get back to the Allied lanes, and he saw a few hundred French horsemen in his way. And he thought, to hell with this. And he just charged at them, waving his saber, hacking away at people. They were hacking at him, but he was hacking away at them. And he killed, it's thought, between 20 and 30 Frenchmen on the way through. Now, although he was doing that amount of damage, he had serious saber slashes to his face, his neck, the top of his head, and most of his nose was cut off. And it didn't stop him. He was carrying the royal standard, and he rode and he rode and he rode. And eventually, 2 bullets in his back, 3 bullets through his helmet, He made it to the edge of the French lines and he broke into the ground between the two forces. When the Allies saw him, they did what they did at that time when they were proud of their hero. They shouted, "Huzzah! Huzzah! Huzzah!" And he got back to the English lines, and you would think, how amazing. But it didn't stop there. He turned around and he said, "Okay, boys, we can have this lot. Come on." And he started racing back towards the French. The French were shaking, seeing this guy full of holes, full of cuts. Do you hear voices and stuff here? So anyway, they rode back, and all of those retreating English and Allied troops turned around and raced into the French and defeated them. The Battle of, I think it was Dettingen, it was called. One of the great battles of all time with a true hero. And the reason I mention it is Tom Brown was the last man, he was just a private, but the king came up to him in the battlefield and knighted him. And he was the last person ever to be knighted in a field of battle. And after that battle was over, he was badly injured, bullets in him and scars and scars, no nose. He came back here, where the king came to see him. And the king presented him with a gold-topped cane, a replacement nose made out of silver, can you what? And 30 crowns a year pension, which is roughly £30, which back then was like 30, 50 grand a year. This was big money for a soldier back then. He was one of the great heroes, and he's here, and I'd love you to meet him. If I can find him. I think he's up here somewhere. Have I missed him? He's up here somewhere, isn't he? I think so. Oh, yeah, there he is. I see you, Tom. Now, there it is. This is his grave. He was in the Regiment of Dragoons, the Battle of Dettingen, and it's said that if you touch this man's grave, you're supposed to feel the pain that he felt as he was fighting his way through the French lines. I don't think you would do that to me, but it's my honour to be with you, Thomas. And thank you for all you did. You're a bravest man I've ever known.
This is Night Owls on Greatest Hits Radio.
You never know who's going to call next.
0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Alan Robson with you. Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Still got some more stars to come out at night and some amazing music, so get ready for that. But it's time for your second clue. Now, the first clue was some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? That's your first clue. Your second clue is this. We all like this plane. Yeah, what's that? We all like this plane. What do we all like? Plane. That will give you another song title. 2 down, 2 to go. Then you've got to tell me who had all of those hits, those greatest hits. Whose hits were they, though? That's the question. 2 clues down, 2 more to come. Don't try and answer it until you hear all 4 clues, okay? See how well you do. In the meantime, we have Steve, who is lurking about in Newcastle upon the Tyne. Hi, Steve.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
Good, mate. What can we do for you?
Just a quick quick update. I was on a few weeks ago about the book I wrote, Paranormal Newcastle.
I know exactly who you are, Steve. Welcome back on, man. How's it? I hope it's going well for you.
It's been busy.
Right,
which
good.
is nice.
Excellent.
It has been busy.
Good.
Just quickly, a couple of things. Just to mention, I'm doing a book signing for anybody who's in Cramlington on Friday. I'm at Cramlington Hub, which is the library next to Concordia.
I know exactly where it is. Absolutely. So the hub at Cramlington. What time?
Between 5 and 6 on Friday.
5 and 6 on Friday. Brilliant. Well, good luck. I hope you move a few. Excellent.
Come down and have a look.
That's
And it was a bit of a recommendation for you and the guys for a bit of a road trip.
All right, huh?
A few weeks ago, we were at Shrewsbury Jail in Shropshire.
Right.
Probably one of the most terrifying places I've been.
Really? In what regard? Why? Why was that?
I mean, I don't know. It's psychological. You walk into the place, and it's. I mean, the jail closed down about 8 years ago.
Right.
So you walk into the place, and the place where you're psychic anyway.
Right.
I have never been anywhere like it. I want to be honest. All the years I've done the ghost hunting, you know who I am and how long I've been doing it.
Absolutely.
It's got to be one of the most terrifying places I've ever been.
Right.
Seeing things, figures. I mean, you know, I'm different. You speak to people whisper. And the amount of group sightings I've never experienced before.
Right.
People seeing the same things at the same time.
Great.
Noises, walking around the place. I mean, when I was breathing straight by myself for about 5 minutes.
Right.
Voices talking. I was opening cell doors. Nobody was there. I'd like to say I've never experienced anything quite like it. So it's a bit of a tip for you. So to come back on the Sunday, I was that terrified. I went and booked it again to go back to Leeds.
That's great. Good on you. No, we'll add that to our list, Steve. No worries about that. That's great. Thank you for that. That's tremendous. Well, that's good, but fingers crossed for the hub for you. Friday between 5 and 6 in Cramlington. If you'd like to go down and have a chat with him about ghosty things, or make sure you get hold of one of his books. Brilliant stuff. Anything else while you're on then, Steve?
That's it. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Easy done. There's Steve. He's a good lad. 0191 488 3188. David sent in another joke. Says, what do you call a man with no body and no nose? Nobody knows, which is actually pretty good. So well done, David. That's a better one to end with. 0191 488 3188. What are you going to talk about tonight? Now, a little bit earlier, we were talking about how Remembrance Day and a lot of people with stories from their families about times of war, some more recent than others.
They came through the checkpoint and I pulled them over. I was just peed off, just because I was peed off for being in the rain. I pulled them over and they had to get out their car, and of course we had the mirrors underneath and everything.
Right.
I was searching all over the car, and we opened up the boot, and it was like, you know, when something just doesn't seem right.
Right.
But it wasn't like a threat or a danger or anything like that. I'm just looking at it, and there was this brand spanking new tire on this rim and everything, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know, if you go and buy a car, you kick the tire sort of thing.
Sure.
And I leant in and I just prodded the tire, and my finger just sunk in. It was all Semtex.
No.
Honest to God, it was Semtex made. I mean, it had the tread, it had the name Michelin or whatever. It had everything. It had the pimples. You know, it even had the little pimples like you get on a brand new tire.
No, absolutely.
And it was black. It was shiny, and it was Semtex.
If that had got through, people would have died through that. Incredible, isn't it? The lives that we as a people here in the glory that is the North have gone through. We must never forget it. And if you've had family that have experienced similar things, give us a call. Talk to us about it. We've got Trevor next. He's in Gateshead. Hello, Trevor.
Hello, mate. All right.
Yes, good. What's your story tonight?
I was just remembrance to you, mate. I've got a couple of things, just a short one, you know, but a few things to say to you.
Okay.
Remembrance to you, my granddad was in the war. We my other granddad was in the like he was in the Navy. My other granddad was like a wild guard.
Right.
And he got shot off a sniper. Got shot in the back of a sniper. He survived, like, you know.
Right. Wow. Blimey.
But it's like unbelievable, man. Can you imagine being like in that situation back in the day and all that, man? Unbelievable, man.
It's whenever you watch a proper modern day war film, you know, something like Saving Private Ryan, where you see them getting off the boats on D-Day and they're getting hammered. Terrifying.
It's naughty, man, isn't it?
Awful. Horrible.
The way they sacrificed their lives for all of us, haven't they? Really,
Fact.
you know?
Absolute fact. Yeah. No, I'm glad he survived. I mean, did it leave him badly damaged?
No, he was all right, to be fair. Like,
wow.
So the sniper mustn't have been a good shot.
Right. Yeah, hit him in a bit where there wasn't much to damage. That's good.
Might have been on the Jägermeister, probably. Like,
you never know.
No, the government, man, like we're saying today, we've got to remember, like, people who fought forward to keep everything going and all that, you know. And you get the government, man, they're all arguing between themselves about the climate and things like this. They didn't care what people have done for us in the past, man. They just care for themselves, mate, I think, you know.
Well, I think it was interesting that when the lockdowns were on and the big COVID thing was kicking, it was all the nurses, we're going to look after them. And then when it all sorted itself out, they were offered them something like 1%, which is not exactly looking after them. And then, of course, they say how much they value older people, and they say, but we're not going to put the pensions up. So, thanks very much. You know, so
it's crazy, mate.
Tells you what they're about.
That Boris Johnson, man, you know, I think it was him. He's a proper turnip, man. Did you see him in the General Hospital at Hexham last week?
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody's masked up and he's walking about. He's bouncing elbows so he doesn't have to shake your hands, but he's got no mask on.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
He's got a clem, isn't he?
That's a great northern word. And like many a politician we've seen, he's a proper clem. Absolutely, yeah. No, I haven't heard that word in years. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
but yes, you have to put him in the clem.
Proper clem.
Proper clem.
Just came through a Clementine.
So what else you got then, Trev? You said you had a few things, mate.
I've just put the Christmas light up on the back beneath, so
great.
I mean, not too much, just a few stars and that, you know, just laughing about.
That's good.
I used to love it when the kids were little, but I didn't live with both of them.
So you think it's just for kids, or are we not all big kids deep down wanting something special on Christmas Day?
Well, I've just put the lights in the back garden, haven't I?
And that'll do. Well, yeah, that must mean something. That's good. So what do you want for Christmas then? Because we've had Santa's already sent me an email tonight, so he's obviously listening. What do you want for Christmas then?
Peace and happiness, mate.
We could all do with some of that. That's
That's all I want, mate.
Yeah.
Probably some new socks. I would do with some new socks.
Champion. Well, I think that's probably doable.
Well, another thing, mate, I think the last time I spoke to you was when Steve Bush got sacked, and we were waiting for the new manager to come in.
Yeah, where do you stand on Eddie Howe then? Good, bad, ugly? What do you reckon?
I'm all right with him, yes.
Right.
I'm all right with it, you know.
Yeah.
But if I was Eddie, you'd be thinking, you know, they've asked this one, they've asked that one, they've asked everybody gone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think you'll do your job for them, mate. As long as you give them a little bit of money, he's gonna get them players motivated, I think.
Right. Well, it'd be nice to see. I know that we're talking about how Newcastle wanted to sign Aaron Ramsey as like, you know, the first signing to show that they've got ambition, because he gets paid a fortune apparently. But they're prepared to get him, and he scored twice for Wales tonight, so he's obviously in decent form.
Has he? I've never even seen that. Did they win, did they?
Yeah, I think it was 4-1, no, 5-1, I think they won tonight. So, Yeah, during the international break. And I was just thinking when I saw the clip, because I just watched the clips on YouTube like you do, and Gareth Bale was playing, and I was thinking, oh, nobody wants Gareth Bale either. Maybe he wouldn't be too bad for us either, I have to say.
He's been mentioned, hasn't he?
He has, absolutely.
He's been mentioned for Dele Alli as well.
Yeah.
Dele Alli.
He's been off form for a long time, but I just think he needs an arm around him, a manager that gives a damn.
Doesn't he, mate?
Yeah, I think so.
Guidance, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He used to be class like 4 years, man. He was mint.
No, absolutely. How many of the standard Newcastle players would you keep in the team, though, if, in the dream situation?
How many would I keep in the team?
Yeah.
Right, mate. Well, straight up, I'd keep Dubravka.
Right.
I'd keep Wilson.
Yeah.
I'd keep St. Maximan.
Right.
And maybe John Joe Shelby. And the rest of them get lost for me, like.
Right. I mean, this is the worry, because if you can only replace one or two, you've obviously got to wait till January to get.
Exactly.
How far down the table can you get when you're already one off the bottom?
And you're only going to get like 4 players in January, aren't you, mate?
That's what I'm hearing. But I mean, if they are players like where they keep mentioning the 3 Manchester United players, and
that Van der Beek.
Yeah, and Jesse Lingard. I mean, they could do worse, couldn't they?
That Van der Beek will not come to the 2-0. He was only linked over because the Ajax manager was going to come on. They wanted the Ajax manager.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be Jesse Lingard. He's welcome to come in.
Absolutely. Be interesting to see. Hey, but congratulations with your Christmas lights, Trev. Have a good Christmas. Lovely talking to you, mate. Thanks for calling. Take care. Bye-bye. There you go. So are you happy with the state of Newcastle United? Sunderland bombing along. They were, and they've just had a really bad month or so, haven't they? And they're a bit off the pace. What's happening? Will Lee Johnson manage to pull them up by their bootstraps? Great manager. And I hope he gets backed. And I hope that Sunderland start roaring again. And Middlesbrough, of course, brand new manager that everybody rates. Enough to do it. Will it be this season? Will it be next? But Middlesbrough are going to be on the rise, because I have every faith. I knew that whoever took over from Neil Warnock would have to be a name, because Neil Warnock, I thought, was great. And he mentioned that he could have done with a little bit more financial support and a little bit more hands-on from his managing director. And we've always had plenty of time for Mr. Gibson, haven't we? But it'd be interesting to see what happens now, because they will have to support their new manager, because he'll want them in the Premiership, where the rest of us want them to. 0191 488 3188. What are you going to talk about? Pick up your telephone and give us a ring. We have Dick on the line next, talking, I think, about vaping. Hiya, Dick. Hello, Dick.
First of all, Alan.
Hello,
my
mate.
name's Graham, not Dick.
Okay. Hi, Graham.
It's a bad start.
Right. So what do you want to talk about? Okay. He doesn't want to talk about anything at all, which is fair enough. 0191 488 3188. And we know, how long have I done a talk show? Blimey. We kind of expect the unexpected, don't we? And Edwin is just on the verge of coming on. While he is, let's hear about another one of those amazing stories. And imagine you're a little kid during World War II, just a child, and you see this kind of stuff going on.
A clothes horse and an old blanket.
Oh, everybody's done that.
And then I heard these aeroplanes coming.
Uh-huh.
And it was 2 Spitfires and a German plane being chased up the valley. And right above me, they were firing the guns and dive bombing. And I stood outside, fascinated, watching this dogfight. And then my mother's neighbour came dashing up the street and grabbed hold of me. Come on out of this. And she took me down to a house and pushed me in the pantry out the way. But I'll never forget seeing those aeroplanes in a dogfight.
And that was a true wonder of
Yes.
World War II. The fact that how wonderful the Spitfire were for protecting the skies, but to be able to say that you've seen a dogfight.
They brought that German plane down just outside of Barnet Castle.
Right.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a croaky voice tonight.
No, it's all right. But you were just a bairn looking up and watching this, and then
7-year-old.
and then everybody had to, you had to be under the lintel of a door because they thought that offered the most protection from any, presumably, be bullets with the kind of thing.
Pushed in the pantry, and I missed the rest of the show.
Because if you think about it, though, if a Spitfire was shooting down at the German plane, all the bullets that missed that plane would be hitting the ground somewhere.
Oh, they'd be around somewhere, no doubt.
So that neighbour
I didn't
was.
see the danger in it, though. I was just fascinated.
I don't think your sheet over your clothes horse would have protected you from that one.
I do think so.
How about that? Amazing. Edwin's with us. He's in Gateshead. Hi, Edwin.
Hello, Alan.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
Mate?
I'm good. You?
Hi, Connie, mate. Just a quick call, try and let somebody else on now.
Sure.
I think more respect should be shown for drivers on the road, but people that drive for a living, like lorry drivers, because they can't get enough of them at the minute on the roads, can they?
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. And have you noticed disrespect for them? Because I tell you what, I have seen a lot more of, like local delivery drivers from supermarkets. They seem to be doing a right business this time.
You do, mate.
Never seen so many of them in all my life.
I try and there as many as I can, but sometimes you get the odd person that'll toot behind you and tell you to hurry on, but it's just that you can't seem to get enough of them. They must get frustrated, when they've got to be for me to be as quick as I can,
Absolutely. And another thing you got to worry about, especially if you're in a city or town centre, is the delivery bike people who ignore red lights. They just in other directions. Yeah,
I stopped at Hewitt today at a red light, and the car behind me went straight through on a red. I said, "Well, that's what he did. Went straight through on a red."
Crazy.
But you get them, I think the roads need improvement as well, didn't it?
I think so.
Should be an MOT for the roads, never mind your car.
Mind you, I did see something. Can you remember the first time you passed your test and what that first couple of weeks was like driving? When you just get through and you're a bit windy about everything and you're still doing 29 mile an hour everywhere in a
I ended up doing Middlesbrough way somewhere. I was driving doing it. I didn't know how to get back. Honestly, I didn't know how to get back. And I seen this lorry driver pull into a lay-by, and I said, "How do you get back?" And he says, "Just reverse all the way back," and we start laughing. He said, "Just get up the slip road there. Just gone 3 or 4 times, got up the slip road and gone running and back up." I was totally naive, you know what I mean?
Bless.
But he showed us what to do, and I said, "I just passed the test." I told my father where I was, and I think it was Skinning Grove or somewhere.
All right, yeah.
And he says, "Oh, that's not Middlesbrough, man, it's miles away." And he was laughing, But I just told us what to do. You read that's what happens, isn't it, when you pass your test?
No, because it was funny. I drove through Cowgate towards Newcastle in the top way, past the town moor. And when I was going through Cowgate, there was a little Suzuki in front of me at the red light, but the red light was green and the car was still stopped. But she had one of those green P on the back of the, just past kind of thing.
Nice.
So I'm thinking, well, bless. It's obviously been current because it's on green and she's not moving. Oh, he or she's not moving. I found out it was a she. And so she tootles forward. She's in a 30 zone doing 19. So I thought, I'm just going to stay behind her. And, I'm not going to panic her or zip past her or whatever. So I stayed behind her the length of Cowgate. And then she wanted to pull over right as if she was heading up to maybe Westerhope or whatever. So she pulled over, but she put her indicators on. And when you indicate out to get into a lane that's turning right, most of us would indicate and then pull over. If there's nothing coming, you pull straight over. There was nothing coming, but she's indicators on. I'm not going to pull over now because there's cars 20 yards down the road. And eventually the guy's stopping doing 90. You know, he's at 19 miles an hour now, waiting for her to pull out because he didn't want to upset her as well. It actually made me feel better about the way we drive, because some people would have just whizzed past her and not given her monkeys. But at least we both knew the potential for her crashing into one of us was actually kind of large. So let's just give her a bit of time, give her a bit of room, and let her learn.
Needed a bit of patience, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, that's what it is.
On the road.
I remember the day that I passed, there was people, because they put a green thing on the back of the vehicle. I had a little Mini, and there was people driving at me at speed, you know, just lights flashing just to try and wind you up. And it did, because that first couple of weeks, I think, is that's scary. Because you realise you've learned how to drive at 29.9 mile an hour, and then all of a sudden you realise that everybody else in the 30 zone is doing 40. You know,
when I took my first test, I failed the first time. I passed the second time.
Right.
But the driver instructor I had that was teaching me, he says, you get somebody called, I think it's called Fasher or something at the time.
Right.
And he says, he's really awkward. He says, man, if you mess up, you get out and walk back to the test centre and leave it. He can't do that. He says, oh, he will. You get it and just leave it. Through that panic, there's more, you know. So I think that's how I feel the first time. But I got through the second time anyway. So,
well, you beat me. It took me 3, so well done.
Oh, I wish you all the best, mate. I hope you get your own radio station one day. Like.
Well, you never know. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
Take care, right?
Hey, Nebosh. Thanks, mate. There's Edwin. There you go. Can you remember the first time that you passed your test? What was it like? What did you get up to? I want all of those stories as best you can. 0191 488 3188. I'm dotting the show while we're waiting, I think, for Brian to come on. Brian's coming on very, very soon. Let's have another one of those amazing memories of very, very special people, especially when you discover your own dad's past.
Towards the later end of life, Dad said, you do know I'm a murderer. I had to shoot a Russian eye to eye to escape, and things started to come out then.
When he said, I'm a murderer, I had to shoot somebody while looking them in the eye, it would have been kill him or he would be killed.
Absolutely, yes.
So that doesn't make you a murderer, though, does it? Not in my eyes, anyway.
It was something that he didn't want to do, but he had to do.
Sure. So have you had a family member that's told you about killing people? Because that's what we're talking about here. Defending their country against all comers. 0191 488 3188. Brian's with us. He's in Gateshead. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Alan. A couple of things I was going to talk about.
Cool.
First of all, the metro and public transport, like buses, I've noticed when I've been on the buses and metros that they're really packed at the minute. No one's wearing masks. And they're all coughing and spluttering and obviously passing on, nasty colds and all sorts of stuff. So I just don't know why they're not bringing the regulations back in, because people are on the trains coughing and not covering themselves up with their hands and stuff.
It's funny because I see in a lot of shops, people are still wearing masks, but now they're wearing them because they choose to rather than they've got to. But you think on trains and buses it should be made a rule again.
It used to be announced, didn't it? They say, please wear a face covering, but nobody's doing it. So people I've got a nasty cough now, probably of somebody who's been coughing on it, even though I've had a mask on.
Right.
I've still caught a very nasty cough of somebody who's coughing all over the place on the train.
Right. Yeah.
And obviously that COVID thing's on the rise as well, isn't it? So people have to be really careful,
Absolutely.
I think.
You just don't take any chances. And the whole mask thing, and right at the very beginning, I think we all thought invasion of our privacy, invasion of our personal rights and all that kind of stuff. I think we all felt like that. But maybe they were right all along. I mean, worldwide, they were right all along about the mask thing. They say that, mind you, even the experts say that masks only stop 1 out of every 9, which doesn't seem very many, but I suppose saving anybody's saving somebody. So, But I get it, and I hope your cough gets better soon. What was the other thing?
Okay. Oh yeah. I know you're into the paranormal, Alan. There's an interesting website I've been checking out quite a while ago. It's called quantumparanormal.co.uk.
Right.
There's a guy called Patrick Jackson. He's got his own YouTube channel.
All right.
He's involved in reverse engineering. He's been developing apps to bring on paranormal stuff on demand.
All right. Worth a look.
Really bizarre. He actually believes that paranormal activity is caused by other invisible beings that we don't know about. So I don't know if you want to check him out.
Yes, worth a look.
Quantumparanormal.co.uk, Patrick Jackson.
Got it.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. He's got a lot of interesting stuff and theories and stuff. And he's developing sort of apps to bring on paranormal. Because you were talking about orbs quite a lot. When you get orbs around you get a lot of paranormal activity.
Sometimes,
and he said there's different types of orbs. There's ones that you can get outside. There's different sorts of orbs that are brought on by paranormal activity, and he actually believes it's caused by other beings or something.
Right. Okay. Well,
a lot of people get radiation poisoning and stuff, and he said on his website he was on about people. When you're saying you get massive headaches and stuff, and you get nausea and stuff. He said that's caused by the some kind of radiation or something from these orbs or something.
All right.
It's really interesting what he's got. He's got interesting theories on orbs and stuff, so it's worth checking them out.
I will do that. Brian, thank you very much indeed. Good stuff.
Cheers,
great to hear from you. Thanks for coming on. Bye-bye. Well, there you go. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. As always, have you got a little bit of this and a little bit of that you're going to share? 0191 488 3188. Now, another star coming out at night. Blimey, how many have we had? Natalie and Brulia, Texas, Earth, Wind and Fire chatting to us. Let's go a bit louder and prouder, shall we? This time, Jim Kerr, Simple Minds, we love them. Bonnie Scott's, of course. I asked him about starting out.
Eddie, what I want to find out, though, is to go right back to the very beginnings of Simple Minds to start with. Whereabouts were you raised?
In Glasgow. Charlie and I were, Charlie, for those listeners, my partner, songwriting partner and guitar player, Charlie Burt. So we both live in the same street in the south side of Glasgow.
Right.
And we went to the same school. And
so were you a bit of an anarchist, or were you one of these SWAT-y types?
Somewhat in the middle. I mean, if I knuckled down, I'd get the good results, and then I'd get blasé, a bit like with the band, really. And it would all go to pot. So it was like I could do it if I wanted to.
Right. And when did you decide, though, that you weren't going to go along the road of study into a standard job? When did you decide it was going to be music?
When I went to school dance, and because ours was mostly, well, it wasn't a boys' school, but the boys and girls were kept apart, and then
Right.
school dance came, and there was these things there called lassies, and didn't know how to talk to them or what to say. But I noticed that no matter how ugly the band were or other roadies, or the lassies were talking to them.
So this was a desperate tactic, was it?
I was sad.
And thank you for all you did. You're a bravest man I've ever known. Bravest man I've ever had the honour to be with. Amazing. What a story. And with his 30 crowns, he opened up a tavern on what is now the High Street in Yarm. It's no longer a tavern. It's two houses side by side, apparently. They've added another soldier's grave here, the Royal Regiment of Artillery. And what a place to be. His family still send their love. You can see the tribute. But what a place for Paul to be next to two heroes together. Just beautiful. And this is, again, one of those places that's just incredible. It's got a real feel to it. If you guys catch anything on camera, share it with us, please, because we're heading to our main site next. If you're about, Thomas, would you like to say anything? In fact, I'm going to sit down here and put the... Oh. Let's try. If there's anyone here, talk to us. Talk to us. You know that darkness, Tony? You know that darkness we talk about? Look at this. Whether you can make it out. Hope you can. Just like a moving down behind that tree.
Saw a couple of shadows behind there.
I know, that's what I mean. Right. Shall we try and head back? Because we've got our...
Yeah, people are asking if we're going inside. We are.
The main event is ahead of us. But we're there now. Come on, let's go and do it.
If he isn't there, then we're going to have to look for him.
You'll be there. Oh. Oh, that was creepy. Just saw something dark move about a bit. Just over at the far wall. Right, this way. Definitely this way. But what's round the corner from here? Well, it's a place that so many people have come to do a ghost hunt, and we're pretty much there. It's just here. It's a building called the Fellowship Hall, and a lot of ghost groups have done this. I've researched history by the score. So you better start sharing this. Share this as much as you possibly can right now. Win yourself the prize and feel proud that you're helping us cracking on. Fellowship Hall do all kinds of things. Not saying whether I need this at all. I'm working hard, hopefully not. I want to meet this woman, Sweaty Mama. I want to meet her. And they had some of this on today. John and Janet of Dance Temptation. A bit of salsa going on here too. This is the Fellowship Hall in Yarm. Now, we're going to wait for Kenny to get us in. Oh, you... Oh, shoot.
I got my own back because honestly, I was walking for miles down there.
Was it horrible?
Awful. Just walking at the dead end. You're thinking, how do you get back up here?
Shoot.
Well, happy.
That was fun. And here we are. We're in.
1 inch. Oh.
Now, all of the ghost groups that come in here say that they get all kinds of things. If you come in, I'll put a snap on so that we can't be joined. Oh wow! Look at this.
And I was that close to the river. Seriously.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, as you know, we got 2 clues already in our pockets to work out. The first clue is some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? What song title answers that question? Second question, we all like this plane. We all like this plane. What song does that fit? 2 more clues to come, and you'll get them both within the next 40 minutes. In 20 minutes' time, the first one, and then 40 minutes' time, you get the last clue, so you can dive in and have a go and see if you can work out whose hits they are, whose greatest hits. Right, let's crack on. We have Bill next. He's in Chester Street. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Alan.
Good morning, sir.
I want to talk about some experiences of my relatives in the First and the Second World War.
I would love to hear, Bill. Do share.
Now,
Go for it.
My granddad, when he was attacking the enemy trenches, he didn't want to bend over to avoid bullets. He stood erect to go forward. He didn't want to be hit in the head. And later he found he had bullet holes in his uniform.
Oh, wow.
Where the bullets had just missed him. Very lucky.
Hey, but you never think of that, do you? Because I suppose if you're running with your head down, you're very likely to be hitting the head, I suppose. Wow.
Another experience is, the boring hours they had in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
They had nothing to do. They would put a piece of cheese on the bayonets and wait for the rats to come and would skewer them on the bayonets.
Wow.
Just for something to do.
Yeah.
And the other experience my granddad had in that war, there was a group of men going along the trench.
Right.
They came to a bend in the trench. The first man went round. He was killed by a sniper in the tree. The second one lost his temper and tried to get revenge, and he was shot. My granddad then stopped anybody else going forward and sent a word along the line to have the gun trained on the tree where the sniper was.
Right.
And that way they got the sniper. But also, I want to talk about the Second World War where my dad was in.
Right.
He stood on 2 landmines within 24 hours and survived both. The first landmine we stood on, his mate Lofty called him over the road to see a porcupine in the ditch. And as he was walking over, he stood on a landmine. Fortunately, the blast went behind him, so he survived that.
What's the chances? What is the chances? That's incredible.
Within 24 hours of that, there was 3 of the men walking along. My dad stood on another landmine. Both men on the other side died, and my dad survived. One got it in the groin, and another one got it in the neck. My dad didn't know he'd been wounded till he saw the blood dripping off his fingers.
Right.
He was still very fortunate. We're lucky to be here.
Absolutely.
After the experiences in the wars.
So, I mean, when he told you these kind of things, because, kids expect to hear, I've had a rough day at work stories from their dad. Or when I was a kid, we never used to do, that's the kind of story you used to get. My dad fought in the Second World War. He just wouldn't talk about stuff. You know, and I've never fully understood. Or maybe they just saw stuff there that was too awful to tell.
My dad was talk about it every opportunity.
Wow, right.
But, so he was different.
Yeah, he was, absolutely. But wonderful, thank heavens, because otherwise we'd never have heard these amazing stories.
How we're here.
Absolutely.
After the experiences of them.
No, brave people.
I think I've got the quiz, so I'm not going to see it, but I think I've got it.
I'll keep it stum for now. Good on you, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alan.
He might be the winner later on. We hope so. Thank you for calling. 0191 488 3188. He reckons he's got it. A couple have already had little side swipes at it. Some have been right, some haven't been. 0191 488 3188. But wait till you hear all 4 clues, because you can't answer 4 clues till you've heard them. You only heard 2 so far. Anyway, we have Linda coming on now from Barrisford. I haven't spoken to Linda in ages. Hello, Linda.
Oh, hello, Alan. I know, and it's awful.
I know. Well, welcome back. How are you doing?
Not doing too bad.
Good.
What was it?
What you been up to then?
I put my Christmas tree up today.
Did it hurt?
Yeah, it took me all day.
Oh, right, okay. That's good. So does it look bunny?
Yeah, it looks lovely.
That's excellent. Well, that's...
What do you mean? Did it hurt?
Well, you said I've just put my tree up. I thought, okay. You know, different people do different things in their private life.
Oh.
That's fine. My dad used to put the wallpaper up. There you go. There you are.
Oh, there we are.
Didn't hurt him too much. Okay. Right. No. So it would have been better on the wall, my mum used to say. So what else you been up to then, Linda?
I had my mother over the week before last.
Oh, that's nice.
From the care home.
How's she
for
doing?
3 days.
She all right?
Oh, she's not bad, you know. What was it? But she wants to go down to Wales.
Right. For any particular reason?
Well, I've got a sister that lives down in Wales.
Right, I see.
My younger sister and my brother as well that lives in Wales.
How's she coping in the home, though? Because you said right at the very beginning that she thought she wouldn't like it and she wouldn't get on with people.
No, she don't like it there.
She doesn't, no.
The thing is, the grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it?
No, absolutely. Just she needs 24-hour care. That's the thing. So
yeah, she does.
So that's the best place. It's tragic when it comes to that, but that is a fact.
I mean,
so, oh dear.
Up here we're doing all what we can, you know, but what was it? If she wants to go down to Wales, then it's her choice.
I'm not sure she'd be able to, though, would she? I mean, would she be able to organise something like that on her own? I would doubt.
I don't know what's going to happen.
No, hey, just you hear it and you say it would be lovely if you could, but I just think, because my mother, when she was in, and I, again, didn't have an option but to get her 24-hour care, and she would often say, oh, I'd like to do this and I'd love to do that. And on one occasion, I said, okay, well, at the weekend, I'll come in and I'll take you to the place that you want to go. As soon as I got there on the Saturday, I couldn't go all the way up there. And you say,
that's it. But
you've asked me, you know, and I'll take you. Mm-hmm. I can't be bothered to go. And you think, just take it one step at a time, I think.
Yeah. What was it? Never mind.
But how are you? Are you fitting well and feisty as ever?
Oh, aching all over from putting the decorations up.
How heavy are your decorations, Linda? Mine are just little light things.
Well, I got to climb up the ladder to put it over the curtains.
How big's your tree? You must have a whopper. I was going to, wow, that's amazing. That's what a size tree for a house. That's amazing. That's great. Well, good to know you're getting into the Christmas spirit anyway. That's always good.
I am in the Christmas spirit, and
nice.
I love Christmas. It is the best time in the year, isn't it?
And I know that you go to Germany quite a lot for your family over there.
But I won't be going this year.
No, but the best thing about them Germans, Lebkuchen, Lebkuchen.
Lebkuchen.
Lebkuchen, I've missed the eye. Okay, Lebkuchen. I love Lebkuchen. And it's one of those things that you get different types, not just the plain ginger ones, the ones with a little bit of icing on, or the ones with the chocolate on. Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
You can get them in Aldi, you know.
I know, but they could kill a diabetic, Linda. They could kill a diabetic. But it doesn't stop me yearning. Yes, I am. Type 2. I am.
Oh, bless your heart.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm managing it. It's cool. And I'm getting rid of it by exercise and avoiding Lebkuchen, frankly, and other sweet treats like you do, because you can shake off too.
I've got to watch my weight as well, Alan, because what was it? I love my food too much.
That's the problem. It's the sweet things though, and I don't know what it is about sweet treats. I would always rather have savoury, always. But I remember the year that they told me that I suffered from diabetes. I'd been on holiday, and it was a hot holiday, and I drank gallons of fizzy, sugary pop. Not just gallons. I was buying boxes of cans of sugary liquid, and I was downing 5 or 6 at a time. And hey, it was no surprise when they told me that I was off the scale with sugar. So I've since then lost a bit of weight, and I'm working out like mad. I hate working out, but I'm still doing it. So the battle goes on, but I'll shake it off. That's my target.
Yeah. Oh, good for you,
of course, because Christmas is coming and everything good's going to happen to everybody. It's going to be amazing and wonderful and fabulous.
What was it? I'm going to the Robin Hood Inn. Have you heard of that before?
The Robin Hood Inn where?
Valum.
Valum?
Is it Valum? On the Military Road.
Robin Hood Inn, Valum.
I
don't think I know it, but what's going to happen there?
I'm going to have my Christmas dinner there.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, that's good. No, I just think it's great when you can find somebody else that does a nice big Yorkshire pudding and turkey,
do you know what,
and
Alan?
all the rest.
Every year I seem to have cooked and
I bet.
Baked and everything. And this year my brother and I are going out for Christmas dinner, and I'm going to worry about anybody or anything, just myself.
Only 1 year I was in between wives, and that doesn't happen that often, as you know. And it was coming up to Christmas, and I was on my own, and a couple of my friends had said, "Oh, why don't you come around? I've invited me brother and his wife," and I was thinking, so there'll be me and 2 couples and me like the third wheel on the cart. I thought, no. So I went to a little pub in a place called Walton, which isn't far outside of Morpeth somewhere.
I know, yeah.
Walton with an WH. And
I passed through there.
There's a little pub, and it said, Christmas dinner's still available when I drove past it. So I thought, ooh, I'll nip in there. So I was the only person sitting alone on Christmas Day. Hey, but don't worry about that. It meant I could spoil myself rotten. It was lovely. Right. I had a thoroughly nice time. I had a starter, had a main course, had a pudding, and nobody to feel guilty in front of. It was a lovely thing. It was a lovely thing.
Well, I'm going, and you know Frida from
Jarrow. But there's a Frida in Jarrow. Which other?
No.
The one in Sunderland.
The one
in Durham.
The one that
there's a Durham Frida.
In Dumfries.
Oh, Dumfries, yes. Oh, no, that Frida as well. Yeah, we've got a few Fridas.
Well, Frida and I are going to a Christmas market on the 10th.
Where at?
On the 11th. York.
Oh, York, that's great.
Yeah.
There's a few of them springing up. Manchester's got a few on at the minute. I think they've got 4 in different parts of Manchester. Edinburgh, of course, does a one, and so does Glasgow. So for those people looking for, I know Newcastle has started to do a lot more around Gray's Monument, isn't it normally? So fingers crossed. But no, enjoy them. It's part of just getting in the mood and have a different kind of feel to things. It's about time.
I was going to go to a Christmas market in Germany,
right?
And what was it? I've scrubbed through that. I've scrubbed round that now because the trouble I had going out there in August.
That's put you right off.
Trying to get back. What was it? I'm not going through that again.
No, I must admit, we love Christmas markets a lot, and we decided about probably 5 years ago now, to do a German Christmas market, and we did a few of them. We did Cologne, we did Dusseldorf, we did Berlin, and then we finished in Cologne. No, Cologne, Dusseldorf, Berlin, and then back to Cologne. So we had a good look around them.
Which one did you like the best?
Well, it was the ones we hated the most, because I must admit I wasn't and I don't know what it was. It wasn't what I thought it would be, because I've been lucky enough to do a few Christmas markets in places like Estonia and St. Petersburg in Russia, and I've loved them. My overriding memory of the German Christmas markets, there was a woman on the back of a low-loader truck with a microphone and 2 speakers, and she couldn't sing. Linda, trust me, this woman, she needed rugby tackling off the back of that lorry, because she had a cassette playing her background music, and it was all the Christmas songs.
Yeah.
And she was singing them all flat. And as you walked around the Christmas market, all you could hear was out of tune. Can't rest you merry gentlemen, nothing you but what made it worse was it was in German. So it was, whoa. Oh, Tannenbaum, oh, come on. No, it was horrifying. It was horrifying. Hey, Melinda, have a lovely time. Hopefully we'll talk before the lovely day.
I hope so as well, Alan.
Thank you for calling. Lovely to hear from you.
You take care now.
You
Bye-bye.
as well. Bye-bye. 0191 488 3188. Always expected German Christmas markets to be the dog's danglers, but it really wasn't. Right. Give me a call. We're going to play another bit of
room.
Just another
there's a room next door, and
greatest hits.
A small office upstairs that apparently is really haunted. And we were told that under the stage, don't know whether you can.
That's just
No, but the guy who.
I think that there's a mark there. Maybe that's.
Oh, that could be it. A born-again Christian group put a walk-in font under the stage at one point, which is amazing. So we're going to take look at that, stairs on the way up as well. Fantastic. Oh, look at this place. Oh, we've got to check this place out solidly, haven't we? What is this? And is that to where we go?
Straight ahead.
This door. Really?
Yeah. Have you got the light on you, Kenny? It's not switched it on. Oh, there it is. Oh, so I don't know what's happened to it. Oh, it's off. Oh, seriously? That's strange. Was it on? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It was on. It's a bit strange.
Is it back on now?
I've just put it on now, yeah.
That's weird. That's never happened before.
You've got to actually literally switch the button in for 5 seconds for it to go on. I noticed it was on when I was talking before.
So through.
That one picked up.
And this is the area where we set up earlier, because we haven't been in any of the other rooms other than this. We've got to set up. So shall we make this the half, Tony?
Well, we can do a bit in here.
No, absolutely, 100%. Oh my goodness, what a place. So we're going to set up the dolls. Get the REM pod busy.
Hi everyone, I'm Gwen. Yeah, upstairs.
He said that was the whole most didn't he?
Yeah.
The office?
Upstairs. We'll put them
Kenny, you
upstairs.
take him to the office.
Have we got the balls as well?
Yeah, I've got the camera. We'll have to
Right.
We're going to lock a camera on them too, are we?
Yeah, we'll put a camera. Yeah.
Right, office, definitely.
Okay.
And let me tell you about this wall. Amazing. The only ghost story in this place, apart from a curse that I'll tell you about later. Look at this wall. See how beautifully painted it's been. It used to be plastered. It was smooth. And when they took over this building and they wanted to dude it up, they sent the guys in to take the plaster off the wall and get it down to brick so they could replaster it again because the plaster was knackered. And they got all the plaster off and it was lying on the floor and they went home that night. And when they came in the next morning, on the floor, remember the place was locked all night, the plasterers and painters were in. When they came back on the floor, in the plaster, there were loads of tiny children's footprints running around. Spirits of dead children running around on the plaster. So they thought, stuff that, we're not going to plaster that, just paint it and let's get out of here. And that's what they did. And that's why the wall is beautifully white painted. But that happened right here. So that's why I decided I was going to set up the traps in here. Nothing happening. Be interesting to see if this guy's still moving. I can tell you that he is. He's not stopped.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can see that one, yeah.
Oh my God. That's definitely moving.
That's copper. That's a healing pendulum. And you can use them to, if you've got part of you that's in pain, it's supposed to work by, because it's copper, but it shouldn't move.
That is moving.
Yeah, it doesn't stop moving. There's one more tale about this place that we have to tell you. And it's from this area here. Now, will it? Yes, it will. This area here, you've got a building there. That's the new building, 1897. This building here, this bit, 1822. And you had this area in the middle that at one time, we think, used to belong to the school next door. So it was playing fields where little children, remember the plaster?
Mm-hmm.
Where little children used to play. However, in the 1600s, long before this place was even thought of, well, it's just a car outside it.
Yeah.
Or the trains. Or the two
Could be could be a train probably. But this whole area, everybody knows of Yarm Fair. It still happens to this day. But this whole area here, because it was so close to the main road, the road leading past St. Mary Magdalene's Church, the one we've just been on, that whole area was the main street. And this area off to the side, leading all the way down to the river, was where the fairground used to be. And they had dancing bears, dancing dogs, cattle shows, sheep shows, pig shows, all of those kind of things. Jugglers, jesters, all making a little bit of money at Yarm Fair. Now, they also had fortune tellers. And on this ground, a member of the local aristocracy, a lord who had a mansion house on the outskirts of town, came to this fortune teller. Her name was Sharona, not my Sharona. And she had a knack. She definitely had a knack of telling people's fortunes. So this local royalty, aristocrat, went up with his woman to get a reading. And the reading she gave him was that because he was pompous, because he was unpleasant, because he was obviously a nasty person, he was going to lose his wife, he was going to lose his children, And this guy, if you're wealthy, you want it all your own way. At least that's my experience of the wealthy, the very wealthy. He didn't get it all of his own way. So he got hold of the woman, got his men to get hold of the woman, and throw her out of town. But before she was thrown out of town, actually thrown into the river, she cursed the man and said, I will be back next year, but you shall not. And the following year, the man was dead. And within that 12-month period, 11 members of his family died.
Hell.
Now, whether that was a real curse or 11 coincidences,
you wouldn't think so.
It seems a tad far-fetched. But when people say this area is cursed, I kind of shrug my shoulders and go, yeah, because you do. But maybe there's some weight to these things. You know? Just sort of, did you hear that?
Little sort of whimper here. Just there.
Just there. So share, everybody. We're going to separate. It's been amazing so far. We've had little bits of all kinds. We saw the shadows of two lovers. I think it was two figures side by side.
Right.
Up the.
Did you get anything in the graveyard?
Just the story, really.
Right.
We got a little bit of moving blackness in the distance. I would love to hear what the people at home. And obviously, if you become a supporter, you get all the bits from everybody, and you get Kenny's bit and whatever happens in here, because we're just starting. We're right at the very beginning. Who knows what we're going to get? If you want to stay with us, how do they do it, Tony?
Yeah, if you're a supporter, just hit the become a supporter button on Facebook.
We'd love you to.
On YouTube, just join and everything will be there for you.
And don't forget, if you do that, you get all of the previous shows and all of the extras. And if you've seen the shows and you've liked them and you've just never seen the second half of any of them, blame me. We've had amazing things happen. Don't know whether we'll get it tonight, whether we do or whether we don't. We'll be out next week making sure that we try and find some more for you. So please help us out. It's the only way we can keep going with your support. So please support us if you can. Join us on the other side. Until then, hopefully you will. Or till then.
Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And it's time for our third clue tonight. And the fourth clue with us in about 15 to 20 minutes, so get ready for that. Clue number 1. Some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? That will give you a song title. The second song title, we all like this plane. Okay? We all like this plane. Third clue, a small stringed instrument with flatulence. Okay? That's another song. A small stringed instrument with flatulence. That's 3 songs. Have you worked it out yet? You got one more to come, and I think the fourth one's the easiest. It's the one that will make all of the others tumble like dominoes, okay? So 3 clues down, one more clue to come, and they're all greatest hits, and you're going to tell me whose greatest hits they happen to be. Okay, that's the deal. Meanwhile, we have an anonymous clairvoyant. Let's see what that's all about. Hello, Anonymous.
Hello, Alan.
Hello. What can we do for you tonight? And thanks for calling.
It's been 28 years since I've called you.
Right. Well, welcome back.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know how this, I don't know how to, but Alan, there's a storm coming, and it's a big storm, and there's a message to go with that storm.
Yeah.
And the message is, those that bury themselves into the ground shall stop in the ground.
Right. The ones that bury themselves into the ground.
In the ground shall stop in the ground.
Right. And there's a big storm coming. Is this like a meteorological storm, or is it a storm of war, or do you know what kind of storm it is?
It's a man-made nuclear war.
A man-made nuclear war. Do you know who the participants are? Who's fighting who then?
Yeah. Well, Alan, can you not remember years ago, 20 years ago, when I told you about Diana?
Right. I remember a few people making prophecies about Diana. So, right. So who's fighting then? You know, if you've got a handle on this, tell us all. Who's fighting? Who's going to fight who then?
Chinese in America.
China in America.
They're not going to start it.
And we'll get sucked in.
We'll get sucked in. We're going to get blasted. There's only one way to survive, and that's get off the planet. In Alan, I've got that evidence.
What evidence have you got then?
Me. Look, Alan, I can't tell you because you're not going to believe this.
Well, try me. I'm open. What is it?
Right. It's the night. It was the weekend before Diana died. I was transported to the tunnel where she died. I seen the crash. I seen what happened. So anyway, God was there, and he was with. On his right hand side was Joan of Arc, and on his left hand side was the Madonna, and she was breastfeeding the babe. I was drawn to his staff, and his staff was nearly full. It was nearly, like the writing that was on it was nearly full.
Right.
There wasn't much more to go. So anyway, as he lifted us up, I knew his beard was doing to his boots, like past his boots, in the baby's faces that were coming from his beard. You know, like a cartoon when they're doing it a while in the
right,
like you see the opposite wall, and there's a thingy there. There's like a imprint of it.
What kind of boots did he have on? He said he had
just past his knees.
Just past his knees. So like Dr. Martin's, but religious.
You're
Dr.
not saying
Martin's.
it's serious, Alan.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you the year now.
Okay, go on.
The year
is
2037.
And that's when all the bombs go off.
That's when it's happening.
Right. Just working out how old I'll be.
I'll be 81.
Right. I'll be cracking on as well. So, right. Okay. Well, they'll not call me up then. But we're all. But what you're saying is we're all going to die.
Yes.
Right. And the Earth's going to be finished.
Oh yeah. No left.
So why
into the ground.
Why would both of those powers want that when they're both making so much money at the present?
Because Alan, look at the world. Look at the world now.
Yeah.
There's nobody getting on. There's people starving at borders. They're not letting them through.
Mm-hmm.
They're bickering over this. They're bickering over that.
Yeah.
We want the soil. These can have their oil. Wait, everything's gonna finish. God's angry, and
so God's angry. So God's going to kill us all.
That's right, aye.
So he's not. I've always thought I'm not a believer in God, but if there is a God, we're always told that he's a forgiving God. So this guy's not very forgiving if he's going to kill us all.
Alan, we've turned the backs on him. We've took God out of school to just appease people, and it's absolutely shocking. As a guy was on there before, it's something day the day. Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day, yeah, that's right.
Wait, it's that new. In them days, we all went to church, and we've sung him way in the score there.
Sure.
But anyway, Alan, he's very, very angry. In 2037, that's when everything's gonna go up.
But do you believe that God can change anything and do anything? He's very powerful, isn't he, God?
Yes,
So if he's really powerful, though, at the click of his fingers, he could make us all love him again, couldn't he? Because he's got all that power. He could go and we all believe in him again. And if he wanted us to, he could click his fingers and make nobody on the planet ever break any of his commandments. If he wanted to. So why is he just going to let us kill each other?
If you read the Bible,
I have.
It says that I love man that much, I'll give him dominance over everything.
Right. Well, I suppose that's God's get-out clause. But he also said to forgive people their trespasses. And if he doesn't believe that, because he's not going to forgive the planet now. And why should... There's an awful lot of people who do believe in God. I mean, Christianity is still one of the biggest 2 or 3 religions on the planet. So he's going to kill all of the people that still do believe in him just to get to the ones that don't. That's a nasty so-and-so, isn't it?
No. You're blaspheming, Alan.
I'm not. I'm saying there's a lot of people that believe in him.
2037. That's the end.
Right. So he's going to kill all of his people and the people who believe in him then, and everybody else. He's gone. He's gone. Whew. If you're a clairvoyant and you can't stand the heat, why do you come into the kitchen? Is the question. And I thought the question I asked wasn't blasphemy. It's very straightforward. And you could argue Old Testament, because I have read the Bible. I choose to view it differently to believers, but I have read it, and it's an amazing book that gives lots of moral guidance. So nothing wrong with it. But if you go back to the Old Testament, do you remember the whole Noah story and the ark? And all of these people don't believe in God, so let's kill them all. That was the Old Testament God. The New Testament God's supposed to be all lovey and cuddly and looking after you and cares for you and helps the children and everything. Are we going back to Old Testament God again to wipe us all out because some people don't believe in him? You see, if you're a God of any kind, because there might be thousands, there might also be none, but there could be thousands. And if you're a God and you say to your people, I'm going to give you free will, and the people say, oh, thanks, God. With my free will, then, I'm not going to believe in you. You cannot complain because you're the person that gave them the free will in the first place. So you kind of kill them for doing what you asked them to do. Unless, of course, you're a murderous, evil, wicked, dictator-esque kind of God. I gave you free will, but you didn't believe in me, so you shall die. Doesn't sound right, does it? And can I tell you something? Now, I've no idea. I might peg it tomorrow. Who knows? But if I'm here in 2037, I'll probably be here in 2038 and 40 and so on. I intend to live long and well. And do I believe it? Not for a second, because he couldn't even hold his ground against basic, simple questions. And if you're a clairvoyant, well, there you go. Samantha says, I know some may think this an encore. I might be doing a Jack and Ori story. I've had some odd things. I'm no clairvoyant or anything like that, but I knew something horrendous was taking place. I was about to go to bed, and I went hysterical, crying, and I told my fella something was wrong. Thought nothing of it. Turned on the news in the morning. Turned out to be the suicide bomber at Ariana Grande's concert. I vomited. I'll never forget this. Now, Samantha, I don't doubt that at all. And I know a few people that have come up with a feeling of ill omen, I would call it, a premonition, because I believe in premonitions. I know people that have had premonitions and things have happened. And you got a premonition that something wrong was about to happen, and it happened. The most famous premonition was the Titanic story. 3 years before the Titanic sank, a vicar wrote a book about an unsinkable ship. And it wasn't called the Titanic. It was called a very, very similar to the Atlantic or something. And he wrote this book, a story about how an iceberg, the ship on its first sailing would hit an iceberg and loads of people would die and the unsinkable ship would sink. He wrote that 3 years before the Titanic sailed. And the Titanic did everything that he says in the book. And he said he had a premonition that it was going to happen. So I absolutely believe in it. And there's a lot of premonitions that have been written down. The previous caller rang in and said, do you remember before Diana died? Well, I do. And I remember several people making premonitions and none of them came true. And not one person said to me before Diana died, Diana's going to die in a car crash in a tunnel. Never happened. Never happened. Never happened. We did have somebody saying Diana was going to have a health problem, but I tell you, being killed in a car crash, possibly by your own family, if you believe the conspiracy stories, that's a different thing altogether. But not one person said she was going to die in a tunnel. And he said, do you remember the Diana story? And then he now says, I was transported back to the tunnel. Do I believe him? Not for a split second. However, the premonition thing, Sam, absolutely with you. If anybody else has had a premonition, come and tell me. Meanwhile, let's zip across to Stephen, who's with us in Durham City. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, Alan.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Okay.
Good. That's fine. So, what do you want to talk about tonight then, Stephen?
So, yes, about dreaming things that have actually happened.
Yeah.
I remember my mum telling me years ago, somebody who was Christine who used to work with her in the job centre, dreamt that Aberfan would happen. She didn't know where. She just knew there was a landslide, coming down the hill. And when she woke up the next morning, it happened in Aberfan. So.
And that was that. I was very, very young when that happened, but I just remember seeing the black and white news footage of them pulling dead children out of the landslide that hit the school. It was the school, wasn't it, that they hit in Aberfan?
Yes, that's right. The mine is caused that by storms coal on top of streams. Yes, and
horrible.
That's the coal ones.
Yeah, a few people have rang in over the years and said, "Oh, yesterday I've had this dream that there's going to be a shooting and it's a terrorist thing." And 2 days later, there's been a terrorist atrocity. So I do believe those kind of things, like what your mum got with Aberfan. And I don't know how they work, and I don't know how they come to the people that they come to, because quite often they're people miles away that that are not going to have any direct. It's like Samantha with the Manchester bombing. She wasn't in Manchester, yet she still felt that ill omen that something was going to happen.
Yeah, it wasn't me, mum. It was the person she worked with, I think.
I see.
In the job centre.
Gotcha.
Right. And nobody could predict Hillsborough,
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, the thing about having a dream about a landslide, to my knowledge, up to that time, landslides in Britain were very, very rare. And that was the first one that I'd ever heard of that had taken a life, and a lot of lives, sadly.
Yes, it all caught us by surprise about Princess Diana. I didn't know she was going to die. She was going to happen. I just knew she was the most photographed woman and everywhere, wasn't it?
She was everywhere.
And always on the holiday of Georgie.
Right. Seemed that way, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else then, Stephen?
Yes, on Friday, Waddington Street was 40 years old. It started off in the church hall in 1981.
Right.
And you saw the house, and so we had the celebration thing.
Right. Good. How was it?
It was very good. A good day was had by all week. Because of COVID, we all got a brown bait back for dinner, you know, with sandwiches rather than a buffet to help myself with. There was music and with guitar group and poetry and a raffle, which I didn't win anything from, you know. There was some good prizes. But Barry won the lantern wood burning candle behind me, yes, I think.
Right.
I was very self-enjoyed, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you had a good time. Okay. Anything else, mate?
And I know Matthew likes computer games.
Yes, he does.
By the way, I wonder which game we'll be talking about tonight.
Oh, I've got no doubt he'll be about. But thank you very much for calling, Stephen. Appreciate your time.
Yes, right, Alan.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. There you go. Now it gives me the perfect time just to hit you with one or two amazing little wartime things from you guys. We heard a gentleman on a little bit earlier talking about his grandparents in the First World War, his dad in the Second World War. Imagine meeting one of the greatest people of all time.
And I was fortunate enough to be a butler in that street. And in one corner was Epstein, the sculptor. On the other corner, Winston Churchill. The top corner, Sir Gerald Harding, and the guy who I worked for in the middle. And one night, Lillian Skinner, the owner of Dulcet Shoe Company, she had a fire, and we were all called out into the front street by these two policemen.
Right.
And I happened to just be lucky enough to stand next to Winston. And you know, it wasn't like sort of a big meeting. It was just a nice sort of, hello, how are you? What's happening?
Right.
You know? And joined in a bit and tried to help put the fire out or whatever. The fire brigade came and that was it, you know.
How amazing, though. You just find yourself standing next and having a chat with Winston Churchill.
Absolutely shoulder to shoulder, yeah.
Wow.
And he was butler, of course, as well. His butler at the time was a German guy called Herbert. And I used to have a drink with him when he was off duty the same days as me. There was a pub on Kensington High Street.
How ironic that he's just beaten the Germans in World War II and he's got a German butler. Stuff you would never know unless you listen to Night Owls. That's the thing. Now, quite often when we're about doing ghostly stuff, as you know on YouTube and Facebook every Friday, we talk about how the Northeast was affected by wars and by battles over the years. And this is a call about that kind of thing.
This great big bomber come across.
Right.
Okay? Now, it was, I went outside, my mother says, didn't get we want any planes on top of war house now. But it was a Dakota, I think, or Lancaster. But I think the fella, I got it, I was just about 7 or 8 or something. Right. And I looked up and the fella was standing at the door, the hold of the bomb place, you know. And it went across our number 9 Lindisfarne Road, and went up the Blumhill Road to get to Acklinton.
Right.
Now, where he's talking about Robson, they built this estate up there now. Now, there was 2 farmhouses up the Blumhill Road. Robson had a one and English had a one.
Right.
It took the top of the house off, killed 6 children, and now below the family, the butcher and the farmer were making deals on meat.
Oh.
Carl Jimmy Rowe was the butcher.
Right.
And it didn't make Acklinton, and it was a place called Turgsden.
Right.
Now the plane took the top of the roof, and Ethel Robson and all them were killed. And the child, baby and all. It was very sad, really.
Shame.
Now when we're getting on about chimney pots, it was Rattler Village that was bombed with a landmine.
Ah, right.
It was these chimney pots in Amber. Now there was also at Allenmouth. There was Argyle Street bombed and wiped out, and there was 7 people killed there.
Now, that story came in years ago, and yet during one of our ghost hunts, we told the story of the ghost children of Togston. And a police officer, or a number of police officers, were told that children were playing in this field and making a lot of noise. And 2 or 3 of the houses said, could you send somebody out to stop these children? It's 11 o'clock at night, they shouldn't be out. And the police officers came out, heard the noise, saw the children, went into the center of the field from different directions. When they got there was nobody. So fascinating little thing. Talking about D-Day, oh yeah.
Before the war, my dad was an apprentice baker with the Stirling Cooperative Wholesale Society.
Right.
And my mother worked in the grocers upstairs. and my dad was a bit of a bugger. And my mum didn't like my dad. He used to go up the stairs and steal the bottle of lemonade, and when he finished the bottle, he used to take them back and get the 2 pence back in the bottle. Right, so that's a start. Anyway, the war came about. My dad joined the Navy.
Right.
And the ship that he was on was actually a water carrier. It carried the water from the main ship to the beaches. And he was there at D-Day, and he was carrying water back and forward. And on about the third day after D-Day, coming back out from one of the beaches, it was at every beach, it was at all the beaches, you know, all of it. And he come back out, and the boat struck a mine. And it got sunk. And his mate was a Geordie.
Did he survive?
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, I'm used to it.
Of course you are.
Yeah. And he was in the water for 4 hours, and his best mate, as I say, was a Geordie.
Yeah.
He had to let him go because he was so exhausted himself.
Yeah.
Never seen him again. But my dad got picked up. He got picked up with this tank landing craft coming back out from the beach. And the bosun that was in the tank landing craft got him down, got him sorted out, you know, changed, taught a rum and what have you. Asked him, started asking the story, where do you come from? My dad said, Stirling. And he said, well, is that anywhere near Alloa? My dad says, yes, it's just 5, 6 miles long road. He said, well, this tank landing craft was built in Alloa. And by strange coincidence, my mother actually built the tank landing craft.
Isn't that amazing?
It saved my dad. So that's what got my dad back. You know, my dad wrote to my mother, and that's how they got together.
Just mini miracles. Who would have thought something like that? Now, when we visited the Victoria Tunnels in Oosburn, Baker, an amazing place, we experienced just a flavour of what it would be like when planes are flying overhead for everybody to get down into air raid shelters and bunkers. And it was normal for people at the sound of a siren to go and head for the shelter.
The Apollo on Shields Road.
Yes.
I can remember that.
When you say you remember it, did you actually hear the things happen? Or?
Yes. When the sirens used to go, and I used to run down the front stairs to go to the shelter and scream and scream and scream. Because I hated the sirens.
Because you knew the sirens meant something bad.
I knew what they meant, yes.
Right. When you were little, though, and because this is strange, because my earliest memories are probably, I've got a couple of just little daft things from like 2s and 3s, but you start to remember round about kind of 4, 5, and they do stay with you. At that age, I presume hiding in a shelter so you didn't get blown to pieces became just what happens then.
It was one of those things you all made for the shelter, and I hated the shelter.
Well, there were multiple ones, because my mother used to have in her backyard one of these like little put-me-up corrugated room at Anderson shelter. That's right.
No, these were in the front street and the back lane, brick built.
Right.
And there was 2 bunks in, and the rest of you had to sit on the floor.
And did everybody pile into them?
Everybody piled in, yes.
Forgive my ignorance here, but it's made of brick. It'd be the same as if it hit the house, wouldn't
it? With a concrete roof. And probably there wouldn't have been any shelter at all.
Well, what if you couldn't make it to a shelter or a bunker?
I had meningitis. There was an air raid, and it was in the goods yard over at Newcastle, just over the river from where I lived.
Right.
And my mum and I couldn't go out the shelter, so we had to sit in our kitchen, as you called it, your living room then, right in the corner where the cupboard was.
Oh, because you were too ill to be moved.
I couldn't go out. We just sat here, and maybe the rest of the family were all in the Anderson shelter, but we just had to sit there, and I can remember hearing the bombs go off.
Right.
Really frightening, you know.
I know a lot of people say, well, if they were bombing particular targets, then the houses were safe. The reality was they were bombing anything they could, and they were dropping bombs all over the place.
Well, they were wanting the shipyards, weren't they?
Yeah, that's what I am for.
Armament factories, Armstrongs, you know, the river.
Thickness. And, of course, memories of a bombing raid.
I was born in 1940.
Right.
I remember being taken down to the Anderson shelter in the bottom of the garden.
Right.
Like, whether it was carried or walked or crawled, I don't know. But I can see lights in the sky.
Wow.
And they say when you're a kid, you don't remember things, but I can remember that.
Well, maybe if it is as graphic as that, there are certain things that you're not likely to forget.
But I don't know what it was. Well, it might have been aeroplanes, it might have been searchlights, it could have been bombs, it could have been anything. But I remember seeing things in the sky.
Amazing. How about that? Different times, and let's hope we never have to go back to them, even in 2037. And nuclear war, do you think we're really that stupid? Truly? I always view the whole nuclear option. You'd have to be really stupid because you would know if you press that button, you were about to die. And unless you're suicidal, you're not going to do that, are you, really? 01914 888 3188, but who knows? Who knows? Right, time for the fourth clue. Now, once you work out the answer to this clue, and you will, if you're a genius, of course, I'm just talking to geniuses or genii here. Right, so clue number one is some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? Some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? Clue number two, we all like this plane. We all like this plane. Third clue, a small stringed instrument with flatulence. Okay, a small stringed instrument with flatulence. And the fourth clue, it's just possible that Margaret might. Okay, that's your last clue. It's just possible that Margaret might. So you've got 4 clues now. Each clue gives you a different song. So you'll end up with 4 songs. Then tell me whose hits those greatest hits were. Okay, whose hits were they? 0191 488 3188. We're waiting for your call right now. 0191 488 3188. See how well you do with this sucker. Work it out if you can. A lot of people loving this particular competition. A lot of you finding it very, very hard. I'm looking at my wall of callers coming in, and I'm telling you that there's not very many of you. So this could be your night. If
Is that not just a field? It is just a field. Another weird tree, though. In the distance.
Absolutely.
With a bit that's fell off it, look.
Crazy.
This is just absolutely crazy. What the what? What was that?
Did you hear something? Right, like a whisper.
Just here?
I got something that kind of went, but it was right in my ear. Like, you know, somebody's.
Do you know when I shouted there? Did you hear
what did you say?
It echoed. There was like something just said, like just there. Just there.
Well, it was right in front of your camera.
Yeah.
The camera will have picked it up.
Both got mics, so that'll pick it up.
Oh, Jesus.
That was just absolutely crazy.
Oh.
Why that close?
Tony, it sounded like it was like right in my ear.
Why that close?
Well, you both got mics. Hopefully that picked up well. God.
Blimey, I hope so.
Oh, my heart's gone, honestly. Seriously. My heart is gone there.
That's not funny.
Oh, nah. That was just the weirdest thing ever.
If that was just a bug.
It wasn't a bug.
I might have set you off there.
It wasn't a bug.
But it was just like in my ear.
Do you know, when I'm thinking about it now, it wasn't just a noise, it was like a presence there, like a... As if you're like... Because I like... As if I hit like a force field kind of thing. Like that. And I went... Honestly?
Well, just at the same second you felt that, it might be just coincidence, but I got this...
No, that's not coincidence.
Crackly. Like...
Yeah. Yeah. But it was next to us. It was right next to her.
Oh. Oh, man.
Come on, let's get... I'm not sure I like it here, I have to say.
Oh, I think I've lost it a bit there, like.
Oh, there's black stuff moving about.
Oh, no. That was... I've got a tear. I've got tears here. What the hell? Seriously, man. What the hell?
I am prone to a heart attack. I'm feeling all right.
Don't. This one. Yeah.
Oh,
it was just weird. Why have I got tears?
Oh, that's just not...
Seriously. Tears here.
I'm straight into this.
Man.
Fine, hour 1 and 4, so...
Oh, don't. That was just freaky.
You both made me jump. I was quite way behind.
It was freaky. Well, I just cannot explain that at all. I cannot explain that.
I'm just not even trying to look in places. I don't know. Oh, dear.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what it is. It's making up for last week.
Blimey.
I mean, it was lovely last week, but it wasn't like this.
Here it comes.
Here comes the wind again when we talk about things. Look at this.
Ow.
And then it'll just go away again.
Yeah.
There you go. Just like that. Isn't that the weirdest thing?
It's wind behaving not like wind. Oh, dear.
I keep hearing things all the time. All the time. Was that just because I'm jumpy?
I'm zoning out a bit.
You what?
I'm zoning out a bit.
Right.
That just freaked me a bit because that was really super close. Super close. I mean, intimate close, you know?
Yeah. Too close, wasn't it?
But it was right next to...
Yeah.
For anybody to get... Because I was standing kind of...
Yeah.
Right there.
Exactly.
That being the case, it would have to be between us.
That's what it felt like.
Ah, oh, dear, what the hell? Just been nettled as well. Watch these, Ken.
Nothing there.
That's that witchy place again. Right. Right, okay. Go for it, Kenny.
Okay.
Yeah, you're reaching the gate.
Right.
It's weird. Did you hear that?
What was that?
Just said it's weird.
Weird, all right.
I see. Oh, lovely. Do you see us? We're in your backyard. We're coming to the castle now.
Talk to us. Come on. Just leave it, Ken. We'll get in there.
Okay.
I'll shut it. You shut it.
Okay, that one. Now remember, I need a torch because it's a body cam, this, so I'm not looking through it. So I have to have a torch just to see where I'm going because
We can see the castle now.
Pitch black.
And the light in front of us. Oh, it's just there. Follow. I am following. Now we're back in that garden where the voices we heard. Okay, I'm having a clairvoyant moment. This is clairvoyant Alan for you tonight, okay? I don't do clairvoyance. I don't take it lightly. And I'm being a clairvoyant right now because I've been on Google, right? That's all. 2 quick clicks on Google. Why there will not be a war between China and America, at least not a nuclear war. There might be a bit of shooty. There might be a bit of fly. Ooh, nasty. But there will not be a nuclear war. Let me tell you why. 2 clicks on Google. My first click was, how many Chinese people live in America? Have a guess. 100,000? 500,000? A million? No, 18.64 million Chinese people live in America, right? 18.64 million Chinese people in America. Right. So they're not going to bomb 18 million of their own people. Secondly, there are 248 Chinese corporations. That's not companies, it's corporations. These are companies that have got branches all over the place. And the Chinese, every single year, make $2.2 trillion in America. $2.2 trillion every year. They're not gonna blow it out to pieces. Ain't gonna happen. Clairvoyant Alan says, ring me, pat me on the back in 2037. Crack on. 0191. Well, just don't worry about it is nonsense. 0191 488 3188. Not all clairvoyance are nonsense. This one, I have given you the proof. It'll not happen. Let's move on. We have Matthew, I think, next. Where's Matthew? Hello, Matthew.
Hello, Alan. You right, mate?
I'm very, very well. How are you?
I'm fine. I got the Call of Duty Vanguard last week, and I've been playing that.
How is it?
It's really, really good.
Have you managed to get right through all the levels yet?
Not yet. I'm still working my way through the campaign and that, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, it's a full campaign. That's good.
And I'm playing Battlefield 42 comes out on Friday, so I'll be playing that. I'll be looking forward to it.
All right.
Yep. I'm saying, Alan, there's not going to be a war in 5 years' time, as in no.
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 Well, there's always wars somewhere, But it's not going to be a big nuclear thing, I don't believe.
Yeah. Rather have a war on a bridge or game in real life. I'm saying what's good to this Call of Duty is that it's a follow-up to Call of Duty World War II from 2 years ago, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
So are they the same characters?
No, different characters. Yeah. But the zombies is in it. The zombies in it. A lot of YouTubers it's been streaming it. Have you and Tony not got it yet?
No, Tony's after it though. Tony says he wants it for Christmas. But you always get all of the games straight away. What are you going to want for Christmas then, Matthew?
I don't know. I would like to talk to you.
Well, I'll be about, so that'll be doable.
It's Christmas Day. It's Sunday this year, a Monday, Alan.
I think it's a Monday.
You're not on a Monday.
No, but
you're on a Monday.
To be honest, I think Christmas Eve's a Monday, so I think I'm on Christmas Eve, if that makes sense. That's when I'm on.
Are you on? Is Christmas Eve a Sunday, by the way?
No, No, the day before Christmas Eve, the 23rd. Is a Sunday, so that's when I'll be on. So I'll be
Alan, did you hear about the bombing on that hospital, the ladies' hospital? Somebody said about. Yeah.
Yes, I heard one person's died and the other person was injured, but they're out of danger.
Have they caught anybody who did it yet?
Yes, they've arrested 3. They're innocent and proven guilty and all of that, but they think they've got the right people.
I'm saying, Alan, when you play a computer game, that's a computer game in real life. If you kill somebody in real life, you can't change the clock in a computer game. You can just go back and redo the level. You can't do that in real life.
No, that's absolutely true. Scary,
I'm saying, Alan, another point. I went down to the beach with Ian last week. We had a good time in that.
Good.
Yep, we're going down to Whitley Bay again this week.
Great.
Yeah,
it's good to get some fresh air in your lungs. Brilliant.
Yep. I'm saying, Alan, I've been watching the soaps this week.
Right.
They're really, really good. The guy Corey who murdered Tevi got arrested. I was delighted when I let the lady Calipari, the girl Calipari. I said, "Yeah,
that's brilliant."
I'm saying, I listened to your old serial killer ghost hunch on SoundCloud. In the front, the serial killer. It's my interest. I like listening to it.
All right, good. I hope you liked it. Right.
Yep, I'm saying, Alan, there was a podcast years ago called Night Owls After Dark. It's not on SoundCloud anymore. I don't know what's happened to it, but it's gone. I wanted to ask you if it's gone, if it's coming back, or is it gone forever? Just wondering.
Well, it wasn't me that put it on in the first place. So what we're trying to do is get people to take off our stuff who have just put it on. So hopefully it'll be back on Robson's World instead. So there you go. We've got to take a leave of you very quickly. Go for it, Matthew.
Shout out to Barry and Jimmy. Shout out to Ian. Shout out to everybody on Osby. Good night, Alan. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. There you go. Now, if ever you need a review of a computer game, he's the guy. Seems to get there before everybody else. So, last chance for you to win tonight's competition. Some people wear shorts to avoid getting what? We all like this plane. A small stringed instrument with flatulence, and it's just possible that Margaret might. What is the answer? 0191 488 3188 to 2.